everyone. Welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 78. It feels weird today.
That all right?
A few reasons it feels weird. Not that the podcast is being recorded so late. I mean,
that's normal.
Technical difficulties, things happen. It feels weird for a few reasons. One, FiveJay Gaming is here.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You guys might recognize him from the live streams he's been doing over the weekends, especially the past few weeks. Been doing some Paladins, playing with some of you guys. Good times.
Yes,
Be sure to go check out his channel. We'll have a link down in the description for you guys to go check that out. And he does a lot of live streams. It's really all you need to know. These live streams like a zillion different games. So
yeah,
he's a lot better at playing
video
games than I am. Like when you guys watch my videos and you see voiceover over gameplay, and everyone's like, "Man, you suck at this." I'm like, "Go watch someone who doesn't suck."
Yeah, right.
FiveJay doesnit's suck. He's pretty good at the games he plays.
Oh, thank you.
Especially compared to me. It's not a high bar, let me tell you. Oh, some personal insults. And, of course, I got Eric Moore over here to my left.
Hello.
As always. And another reason it's strange is because we're back to the regular podcast format. Yeah. We haven't been this way for almost 2 months. We've been live streaming, and to be fair, the live stream events have been really successful.
Yeah.
They actually have been. We're getting a lot of good viewers. The Q&A parts have been great. Essentially what happened was we were combining the two podcasts I had running into one until I had time to split them up. I was planning to split it back up at the beginning of this month. FiveJay knows. He used to be on the other podcast, the Primecast that we did on Fridays. The thing is that I still haven't got like a regular crew back together to do a Primecast on Fridays. It's something that I've been neglecting, admittedly, getting back into the flow here after I recovered from surgery. So just bear with us as we try to get things back. First step was stop being lazy, Nate, and actually get the podcast back to the way it's supposed to be. Get Martin back in the fold.
Hey,
Martin, you're still alive, right? I'm not going to send this to a blank email, right? I haven't actually talked to Martin in a while. He has no idea he's getting this episode to edit this week.
He changed his name and moved.
I'm sure he'll be happy. I'm sure he'll be happy. He follows me on Twitter and everything. So, the fact I haven't told him he's got something to edit this week. Hope he didn't have plans this week.
Yeah, right. Whoops.
Anyways, for those who don't know, we do record on Thursday nights to release on Mondays on our YouTube channel, or if you happen to be a $5 backer on patreon.com/Nintendo Prime, you can actually get the audio version in full on Sunday, a full day before anyone else can get a hold of it. Or, if you want to be extra special, for $10 per month, you can become a Patreon backer and get access to us live as we do it. You get to see the bloopers that happen before we even get going. You get to see it deal with all of our audio issues, which seem to always happen every single episode.
Right.
Any video issues, glitches. You get to see a bright green screen behind us instead of whatever the heck Martin's doing to it this week.
You get to hear Elvis.
And I already forgot the new thing I wanted to do. That TV was supposed to roll over into here and have the podcast thing up on it, the podcast symbol, and I totally forgot.
Oh.
That's
Nice.
something I'll set up next week because it took me forever to set this back up after it being 2 months. Pretty much since E3 at this point.
There you go. Why not?
But whatever. You guys are here to hear us talk about Nintendo stuff, right? I mean, it is the Nintendo Prime podcast. Not like the Primecast where I can be like, you know what, let's talk about Xbox this week and then just piss everyone off.
Oh, yeah.
Because Xbox sucks, right?
Fanboys.
So our first topic is probably not going to make a lot of people happy either. It deals with something that Shigeru Miyamoto said. So he was at the Computer Entertainment Developers Conference, CEDEC for short, in Japan.
Sure.
It happens every single year. It's been happening every single year since 1996. It's kind of like their version of a GDC, a Game Developers Conference, except obviously it has all computer entertainment, so it can deal with more than just video games. But he did the keynote speech this year, and in the keynote he talked about a lot of things. But what we're going to focus on is the new mentality, it seems him and possibly Nintendo, because he's obviously one of the higher ups at Nintendo, has for video game monetization. Something that has been in the news a lot recently, especially if you want to go back to the Battlefront 2 fiasco and the pay-to-win and the loot boxes, and then senators coming out and saying it's gambling and all that great stuff. Now, he doesn't really talk about loot boxes per se, although we know Reggie Fils-Aimé, as far back as just this past E3, mentioned that loot boxes is one method Nintendo plans to use for monetization. And if you don't think they use loot boxes, well, then you don't play their mobile games. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp has loot boxes in it. I wouldn't say they're extremely obtrusive, but they are there. They do
Fire
exist.
Emblem Heroes, essentially, that's a loot box.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes itself is literally loot boxes.
One giant loot box.
It's a gacha game, which
Yeah.
it might as well just say loot box game, because that's what it is. So, yes, Nintendo does use loot boxes. Are they ever going to bring it over to their full games on Switch or on 3DS? Who knows? Reggie kind of hinted they might do it someday. I don't know if they're considering it. But we also know Nintendo does a lot of different methods of monetization as well. Obviously, there's just the traditional charge $60, here's the full game, nothing else included. You don't have to pay anything else. That's kind of what they've done with Super Mario Odyssey so far, much to some fans' dismay who want DLC. There hasn't been any. And there hasn't been any announced or any even hinted at by Nintendo. That doesn't mean it won't come. But so far, we're reaching a year out, and Super Mario Odyssey is still today one price for everything. Then you have cases where Splatoon 2. The original game had free updates throughout the entire lifetime of the game. Splatoon 2 had free updates for a certain point, and then they had a $20 DLC pack. And they do the same thing with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Those are kind of like the more recent examples. Breath of the Wild had a 2-part DLC pack. So DLC seems to be the more the route Nintendo has gone so far. They do have microtransactions and loot boxes in their mobile games, but not all of them. Super Mario Run is a traditionally priced game on a mobile device, which feels weird to call it traditional because that's not actually traditional on mobile.
Right.
But Nintendo's trying to make it traditional. And he talked a little bit about that in saying that, speaking of the mobile game specifically, and he says, I can't say that our fixed cost model has really been a success, of course, on mobile, because Super Mario Run's the only fixed cost game they have. And despite the massive number of installs that app has, it makes nothing in comparison to Fire Emblem Heroes or Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It's not even close. Fire Emblem Heroes itself, because it's straight up loot boxes, it makes the most money out of all of their stuff. Besides Pokemon Go, which is my Niantic, and Nintendo only gets a small cut of that. But he goes on to say, but we're continuing to push it forward until it becomes entrenched. So that, to me, obviously suggests that they're not giving up on something like a Super Mario Run on mobile devices. They want to normalize people spending a little bit more to get a high-quality game.
Good.
That's what he said anyways. Obviously, we don't know. I mean, the next big one, the big one we know that's coming out still is Mario Kart Tour. Is that going to be another game like that where it's like, hey, $10, here's the whole game? We'll see. And then he says, the way everyone can develop games, that way everyone can develop games in a comfortable environment. Again, not pressured to have to nickel and dime people per se. By focusing on bringing games to the widest range of people possible, we can continue boosting our mobile game business. So it's just stopping there, because this next part deals with something else entirely. Do you guys think this is the right approach to the mobile game market? Because, they've obviously done other approaches. They've proven they're more successful. Miyamoto's basically saying, yeah, they are more successful, and what we did with Super Mario Run is not a success, but we haven't given up on that model. Like, does that make you happy? Do you think that's a smart move on Nintendo's part? Or should they, like they did with Fire Emblem Heroes, like they did with Pocket Camp, should they conform more to what the mobile user base actually prefers? Because you got to remember, the big thing that's stopping Super Mario Run from being any sort of major success story, I'm sure they made their money back. But what's stopping it from being a major success story is people on phones don't expect to have to pay to play the game. And while you can play up to a certain part, paywall. And you could argue maybe the idea is they shouldn't offer play up to a certain point in a paywall. Just charge $10 right away and get the whole game. Yeah. Because that could be, I think that's a little frustrating. Just as a mobile user for me, the one thing that frustrates
Square Enix has been doing that for a long time on mobile phones.
Yeah, I know. Nintendo's not alone here. Other companies have tried it, but none of those companies are nearly as successful as the companies that just say, no, we're free to play. And you can just pay to speed up the game.
It's true.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of two different audiences depending on how you do that. When you do the it's free to play and then has lots of microtransactions, that's the you get anybody model. And then you kind of piss off your core crowd versus paying for it all up front and just getting a single cohesive experience that isn't busted up with all these microtransactions. that's kind of building goodwill with your core audience, but not getting a lot of weight in sales. So I think it's encouraging, at least in my perspective, that they aren't saying, well, I don't care about the core crowd anymore. Let's just go for as much money as we can possibly make. I like that they're at least saying we think this is good for games on mobile. We're going to keep trying it. Hopefully we can make it a pattern. But they're also trying to satisfy their investors and say, well, obviously we have to do those microtransactions. Look at all the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's a balancing act. The thing is obviously, as someone who grew up in the market where you just buy a game and you have the game,
right?
I could say that that's a very nice model to have on phones. Is buy the game, you have the game. Like imagine if I don't know how this would even work in a game like Task Force Baseball. Again, it's been a while since we talked about Task Force Baseball, but that's the mobile game we play the most of. At least the one I play the most of.
Yeah,
and the thing in that game is it's basically built around the loot box style thing. Not necessarily that you have to pay for them, but you can pay for them. They give you this year. They actually give you so many that you don't necessarily feel like you need to pay for them as much.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
So yeah, it's actually been kind of nice. This has been probably one of the better years of Task Force Baseball for people who don't want to pay money. But it's still one of those things where it's built around that model. So when I say, well, yeah, just charge $10 for Task Force Baseball and never charge for anything, I'm like, well, how's that going to change the way the game works? The only thing I could think of is that they put in a different gold economy.
Yeah.
That would be the big thing, because that's usually what you spend your money on is gold.
Right.
You buy gold.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy players and stuff, but
the only way you could do that too is actually, keep your ads, but you just give more
that's
gold
the thing.
per ad.
They have ads too. They have ads and they have that's they're double hitting you. And you could say that's a really bad example, but the game's fun.
It is.
That's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily think microtransactions, ads are another form of revenue, or loot boxes per se necessarily make games not be fun. Like as much as I'm against loot boxes in some cases, Fire Emblem Heroes is literally built around it, and everyone who plays it loves it. Mm-hmm. They play it because of the gacha mechanics at times. They like that random factor. They like that rolling the dice to see what happens.
It makes it much more exciting when they finally get that rare character they've been hoping for, or the special seasonal skin that was only available for 2 weeks. To finally say, yes, I got Easter version of Lucina. Yeah! And it'll never pop up again. And it's like, great. You wouldn't be that excited if it was just a free DLC.
Or it was like a spend $1 and you
Lucina I got for free. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, or even if it was just direct to buy, right? Like you just spend $1 and you get that character or that skin or whatever, $5 or whatever they want to charge.
I think it's like pretty literal to what you're saying. The gacha games in America, we don't really have those as much, but we have the crane games. Why does anyone play a crane game when it's obviously tilted towards dropping everything it comes in contact with?
Yeah, it's like
you feel
one
so
out
good
of
when you get
one out of 15, 1 out of 20 win, unless it says prize every time.
Yeah,
but
then it's like little dinky candies that cost a few pennies.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing to think of with Nintendo's mobile game approach, just based on what they've done. The thing is, I don't really find fault in any of the approaches they've done so far. If the game is built around loot boxes, like a gacha game is, then it's going to be built that way, and that's how they're going to monetize it. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is a bit interesting, because my worry with Pocket Camp was if they see a form of success there, not so much that they're making a lot of money on mobile, but of the players that are playing Pocket Camp, if, say, half of them have bought Leaf tickets or something so they could open up fortune cookies, which is their loot box. Though I think the bigger concern is them taking that to a full Animal Crossing game on Switch. And being like, because the big thing is, and this is the huge fear that I have with Animal Crossing, is Animal Crossing is very much about cosmetics. Like, it's not like an Overwatch or a Fortnite where the core gameplay isn't really built around. I'm like, no, very much so this game is built around cosmetic items. Everything you do in that game is about obtaining cosmetic items. Yeah. Whether it's furniture, whether it's clothing, whether it's whatever, a new little NES system in your house that has a certain game on it. Whatever the case may be, it's pretty much all cosmetic. Yeah, there's becoming the mayor and helping the townsfolk and picking the apples. It's
secondary.
Fishing. But like all of that
just
technically
builds towards
exists.
more cosmetics.
Yeah, all of that is just to drive the cosmetics.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, you got to get everybody in town to like your your things, so
Yeah.
you can become all
Well,
that stuff.
I
so.
don't think I don't think Nintendo would ever go the route of charging for individual cosmetic items, being like, yeah, we're just going
Right.
to microtransaction you to death. Everything in Tom Nook's shop, $1 each. Like, I don't think they're going to go that route because
Yeah.
that takes away some of the fun of earning it through gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see a fortune cookie system in a full Animal Crossing game
Mm-hmm.
that has exclusive items. That
Absolutely.
yeah, you earn some in-game currency, but you could buy that currency for spend $9.99 here and get 1,000
Mm-hmm.
tickets or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or
Right.
1,000 pulls of the fortune cookie or whatever. And again,
Right.
this is a hypothetical situation, but this is always the fear of by them experimenting in mobile coming to home console games, because this is basically what happened with every other company who's ever experimented with this in mobile. They're like,
Right.
yeah, the user base isn't very big, but we're actually making a lot of money per user through this system.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Animal Crossing on Switch is going to be big.
Huge.
It's going to be way bigger than what the mobile
Mhm.
game's doing currently. And as such, and as a game, they're going to charge $60 for. If we could
Mhm.
throw fortune cookies on top of that, oh boy, look out!
Yeah. Right.
And I don't think fortune cookies would even prevent me from buying the game.
Right.
They might prevent me from playing it long haul if it turns out that I feel it's a little unfair. But
It'd
who's
have
it
to be,
unfair
like,
to? Because it's
super
single. It's
exclusive
mostly
items.
a single player game.
Right.
So I mean, it's only I don't know really who else. I guess because I go to my friend's town and they have that 6 swimming pool I want, and I can't have that because it's from a fortune cookie. So
Right,
then I
yeah.
feel like I gotta spend hundreds of dollars to get that damn swimming pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how Fortnite gets you. You'll be running
Yeah.
around like, look at that cool costume that guy just killed me. Look at what he's wearing. How much is that? What? I gotta spend $20? Okay, where's mom's credit card?
Yeah. Right.
And that's for a chance to get it. That's not even a guarantee sometimes.
Right.
Actually, I think in
Paladins,
Fortnite
man,
you buy
gets me.
everything directly. So, but I mean, I think it's an interesting model where he's basically saying he doesn't talk about the other methods they're using for monetization, and it makes me think that that basically any game that Miyamoto is involved in on mobile side, I think they're just going to try to charge a hard price for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Yeah,
what
maybe.
happened is he wasn't involved with Pocket Camp. He wasn't involved with Fire Emblem Heroes. But he was involved with Super Mario Run.
Which makes a
obviously
whole lot
he
of sense.
unveiled the game at Apple's conference. And he's probably involved with Mario Kart Tour. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's
Just a straight up charge.
Just a straight up charge. And my thing is Nintendo says they're in mobile for one reason, to drive people to buy games on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Right.
they
The
try
consoles.
out Mario Kart Tour, and they decide to go pick up Mario Kart 8 for Switch, or they buy a Switch for Mario Kart 8 for the full experience. They try out Pocket Camp, they get Animal Crossing on Switch. They try out Super Mario Run, they go get Super Mario Odyssey.
Right.
That's what Nintendo claims. I don't know if that there's ever been a direct correlation. I mean, it's easy to say there is, because look at Super Mario Run had 250 million installs, and look at the sales of Super Mario Odyssey. It's the best-selling game on Switch. I'm like, but would it have been that without Super Mario Run? I
Right.
think it probably would have,
We will
based
never
on
know.
the hype for it.
We'll
And
never
we're
know.
not going to know, because Super Mario Run came first.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's like, okay, so my test case is actually Mario Kart Tour. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is already out. It's already
Right.
sold 10 million at this point or whatever.
Is
Is Mario Kart Tour really going to boost the sales?
Mm-hmm.
And to Nintendo's defense, we know one piece of evidence that exists to prove this. The success of Pokemon Go led to an increase in sales for older Pokemon games on 3DS. They were very hard to find at game stores during the first 6 months of Pokemon Go getting out, because it made people who hadn't played Pokemon in a long time want to go out and buy those Pokemon games.
buy
Now,
Pokemon.
granted, we're talking about a much lower price to entry.
Right.
Yeah, those Pokemon games were
Right.
still probably $40 because they just never lower the price. But you'd only have to spend like $70 to get a 2DS to even play them.
Right.
So it's a lot lower entry point than you got to buy a $300 system and a
Yeah.
$60 game on top. It's a
Yeah.
lot easier to stomach. Oh, I can go to GameStop and buy a used 2DS for like $50, and maybe
Right.
a used,
That's true.
used copy of Pokemon Sun and Moon for $38.99.
Mm-hmm.
Well, was it driving Sun and Moon sales, or was it driving the Virtual Console red, blue, yellow?
It drove. I can't speak for the Virtual Console sales or Sun and Moon because we don't know what. Again, we don't know how much of an impact it had, if any. Like we
Sure.
can't know. What we do know is that sales of the older Pokemon games took a noticeable jump after
So
Pokemon
when you say
Go came out.
older, you mean what, like X and Y? And-
Yeah, like the game, like all the 3DS Pokemon games that
Okay.
aren't Sun and Moon. So that's where we know that Pokemon Go had a direct correlation to increasing sales. Now, we can assume it also increased sales for Pokemon Sun and Moon, and when they did the Virtual Console games for Red and Blue and stuff, we can assume that, but we don't technically know for sure. We just know that these games were selling like this before Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go came out, and then look at the sales bump after Pokemon Go came out. We don't know for Sun and Moon because that released after Pokemon Go came out, and
would it have gone?
I mean,
that
it
way
ended up
before?
being one of the better selling games. Was it one of
It's
the
a
better selling
Pokemon
games
game.
because people think it's really good, or was it one of the better selling games because of Pokemon Go? We can't know. I mean, I think this Pokemon this year is going to be more telling for that.
Yeah.
Because this game's inspired by it, and right now, as of like literally the recording of this podcast, the user base of Pokemon Go is at the highest it's been since launch.
Huh.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what they did this year, but it's not. You can't say the user base is growing because
It was
not
the
higher.
friend codes, being able to trade.
Yeah, well,
Pokemon
that might be what
finally.
it is. They've been. The thing is, for those who wrote out Pokemon Go because of all these features that they promised that haven't came, a lot of them are starting to come.
Yeah.
And Pokemon Go, if you haven't played it in a couple years, is a very different game than it was 2 years ago in terms of all the extra stuff. Yes, catching Pokemon is basically the same as it's been, except the servers are actually up most of the time now.
Truth.
But yeah, a report just came out that Pokemon Go's active user base is at its highest point since that peak during launch.
Nice.
It's like, okay, yeah, it's not at the peak, but it's way higher than it's been for over a year. And the thing is, it's had a very strong active base. And it's interesting because I'm like, do you ever see Pokemon Go players out in the world? I'm like, I've seen like 5 over the last 2 weeks, and I wasn't seeing any before that. So it's like,
honestly, unless they're talking Pokemon, sometimes you don't even know that they're actually playing.
well,
Exactly.
I know in my area, I can know a little bit because I know like this is a gym, that's a gym,
Right.
that's a gym,
And then you see
and when you
people
see people
standing there.
stop in front of it, staring down at their phone, going like this, flicking it, it's like
Right.
you're
Pokemon Go.
You're playing
right,
Pokemon
right.
Go, trying
But-
to capture the gym. I get it. I've been there. I know how it
Oh,
works.
yeah.
But it's like besides that, like if you haven't played Pokemon Go, you wouldn't know anything. They just stop to text someone or take a picture or a video. Like, so like unless you're spying on people or they just actively say yes, I just caught that or whatever. Like, but the thing is like I'll be down at the park and I will see people playing Pokemon Go, and I'm just like, man, I live in a small town. I mean, not as small as some places, but relatively small compared to where maybe even a majority of our audience listens to us from, probably around more bigger urban areas and cities. Statistically, anyways, is what the stats tell me. I don't actually know. This is just Google giving me information.
Yeah, analytics.
Don't know whether analytics are accurate or not. But just like it says, most of our audience is over the age of 18. Actually, most of the audience is between 18 and 35. And then the second largest audience is between 35 and 45. Our smallest audience is under 18. And I'm like, but we have a lot of kids that come in. I keep thinking, I'm like, are they just lying on their profiles?
More than like
Well,
'cause now
actually,
you can be
what
on
I've
YouTube till you're
noticed
13.
is that sometimes the older folks just don't say anything.
That's true.
There's
Yeah.
one viewer that is in almost every single stream that I do. She's not like older. She's not in that 45 group, but she's more around our age.
Sure.
And she comes at the start, she says hello, and at the end of the stream, she says goodbye, and that's really all I ever hear from her.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about that, like just as a YouTuber, I mean, it's very true. We had even just like a week and a half ago or so, we had a video just absolutely blow up. It had 76,000 views.
Nice.
It was something like 70,000 individual users watched that video. We didn't get 70,000 comments.
No.
It was like 1,200, 1,600. Like, that's a lot of comments, but in comparison to the view count, no.
right.
So, yeah, vast majority of people that watch the video just watch the video. They didn't feel the need to comment or like it or dislike it or anything.
Well,
They just watched the video and moved on.
I guess,
Or maybe they subscribed or something because we did get a nice subscriber bump, but
Yeah.
we didn't get 70,000 new subscribers. So, even in live streams, I did the Q&A yesterday. We peaked out at like 62, 63 live viewers in the middle of the day. Great numbers. Awesome. We usually aren't peaking
Nice.
at that high. We peaked over 100 before. Our highest, I think, was 250 something during a Nintendo Direct. But,
Wow.
Nintendo Directs are just
nuts.
like actual Directs. Those draw in big numbers.
yeah.
Right.
But for obvious reasons, they're not really there to see me per se. Although they could watch the Nintendo stream. That's the obvious thing.
Absolutely.
I guess maybe they're there to see my
Like
reaction.
you're doing in the stream.
Yeah, the only reason I can say they're watching it with us is because they want to see my reactions to things.
Yeah.
Live instead of after. Because you can't fake it in the middle of it happening, right? There's no time to prepare unless you happen to know what's going to be in the direct beforehand.
Right.
That's why the people who react late to it, I'm like, is it really the first time they watch it? It's been out for a week.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
they like
They're
know
running
they got to
around the room
prepare for here's
screaming.
the big announcement. I gotta hold it in and then just scream really loud for the clicks. So like I'll have all those live viewers and maybe only 10 people are talking.
Mhm.
So what the hell are the other 40 people doing? They're watching and enjoying the stream. It's funny because a lot of people said what they do with my videos. Because I've asked before, not about necessarily who's watching, but just about why comments lean a certain way. Like maybe comments are all slanted one way, while the like to dislike ratio is slanted completely the opposite. And so people just said, yeah, here's the thing with your content, we just put it on in the background. We do other stuff.
Right.
It's like we're listening. It's like we treat it like a podcast. We play it in the car. We play it, on the side when we're doing other things. We're making dinner. We're, getting the kids ready for bed. We're doing whatever, and we just have you on in the background. And I'm just like, well, you might want to watch the night streams of putting the kids to bed.
Yeah.
Get a little wild here at Nintendo Prime. The podcasts are usually pretty safe, or you can usually tell when there's going to be a build-up to something coming out that shouldn't come out.
Yeah, generally.
Because usually you can tell. It's usually from me. It's usually because I'm getting pretty heated. Although there has been times we've had guests on that have kind of let loose.
But that was, I think, more after we let loose, though.
Yeah, it was more so I let one thing drop and then it said, "Oh, we can do that." I'm
we're
just
going
like,
for this now.
technically, yeah, I don't censor it. No one in the comments is allowed to do it, but
It is what it is.
it's because I'm sorry, guys, but I'd like to say I trust you, but I don't. I have been running fan communities for 20 plus years. And every time you allow swearing, it leads to people swearing at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't allow attacking of each other. And it still happens anyways, but this limits how harsh the attacking can be. People don't get as offended when you're like, you're a meanie versus F you. I mean, it just gives a totally different reaction out of people when you say that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, getting back into the topic a little bit, it's just, it kind of all deals with the community aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of when I look at what Nintendo's trying to do with their games, attract people to buy stuff on their system through their mobile games. I'm not sure if that's a successful venture because you look at what investors want. Investors got excited when they said we're going to do mobile games because they thought Nintendo was going to make money from the mobile games.
Yeah.
Miyamoto's approach literally said, I can't say our fixed cost model has been a success. He's admitting what he's doing doesn't make money.
It might make money. It's just not.
Well, yeah, it's
just
not making it's
the
not making the kind of
potential.
it's not making the profits they want it to make. Okay, that Nintendo wants them to make, or their investors. Their investors want Fire Emblem Heroes. They don't want Super Mario Runs.
Right.
And they're like 250 million users. Drop the $9.99 thing and throw in a loot box.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make way more money off 250 million users.
But then again, would 250 million users do it if it was loot box heaven?
Based on what we do with the rest of mobile games, yes.
Probably. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's another
I think this
question
brings
you have
up
to ask,
a broader topic as well. That I'm going to get into this broader topic here after we get to this next thing that Miyamoto said, because this deals with everything now. This isn't just mobile stuff. This deals with Switch and everything else Nintendo's doing. He says that it's necessary for developers to learn to get along with subscription-style services. When seeking a partner for this, it's important to find someone who understands the value of your software. Then customers will feel the value in your apps and software and develop a habit of paying money for them. So this is interesting because obviously Nintendo's actually launching their first ever subscription service. Well, someone might catch me on that. They'll come up with something from the 80s.
Right.
But
So
the first ever...
Teleview.
What?
I'm just kidding. I said so Teleview.
See?
I don't remember if that's
come up with
subscription
something.
or not.
Yeah.
They technically did have that before. They have their first ever major worldwide subscription service coming out, and then the Nintendo Switch Online service a paid service, to be clear, next month. He's basically saying that developers need to learn to get along with it, because I feel like Nintendo was the only one of the big three that did not have a paid online system. And it took Nintendo a while. I think this is kind of it took us a while to come around to the fact that we need to be okay with charging money for that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, on the consumer side, we're like, no.
Well, right.
Because right now the only reason I'm buying it is to continue to play Splatoon 2 online, and you're not giving me any extra features for paying.
Right, exactly.
In regards to why I want to keep playing.
I mean, I understand, like if it would have been like games going from here forward are this,
or it would have been
this,
if they would have made it. I mean, this is the hard sell is. If you're playing Splatoon 2 right now, Mario Kart, ARMS, any of those online games that are going to require the online subscription, the main reason you're getting that online subscription is probably so you can keep playing those games. Nintendo's not giving you any extra features for doing it.
Right.
It's just, nope, here's a paywall. And then they'll be like, we are giving you extra features because the NES games, but if you don't care about any of that, you're literally just paying to access games you've already been accessing for free this entire time. Right. Or not even for free because you paid to get them. And you already paid for your internet connection. So it's but this is the whole why consumers aren't into paywalls, and a lot of these games are P2P, so Nintendo's not even running servers for them. Mm-hmm. So it's a big, like, Nintendo's not even footing the bill, so why do we pay for access? Right. But I think, as Miyamoto says, like, customers will feel the value in your apps and software and develop a habit of paying money for them. It's more so these same complaints existed when Xbox Live came out. Mm-hmm. These same complaints existed when Sony flipped the switch from being free to paid. Now look at today, most of their consumers are not complaining about Xbox Live costs or PlayStation Network costs. They just accept it as a thing they have to pay if they want to be using the platform.
Xbox added a second subscription service, in fact.
And we're going to get into that in a moment because I feel like that might even be what he's leaning towards. Because when he talks about value of your software, a habit of paying money for them. I wonder if Nintendo's hinting towards something like that. But
virtual console replacement.
Yeah, here's the thing. They said Reggie Fils-Aimé, that man. I don't know if he slipped up at E3. I don't know what was going on. Words out of the Reginator's mouth. Words out of his mouth. In an answer to an interview question about Virtual Console, he said the Nintendo Switch online service is the Virtual Console replacement. A very bold statement to make when all you've announced is 10 NES games.
Right, 20, but only
20.
10
Yeah, only 10 at launch. They're going to add, But and they said we're going to add more games in the future and all that, and that's great. I mean, if you think about when they launched virtual consoles in the past, they basically said, "Here's a few games, and we'll add a few every week." Yeah. And to their credit, at least this time around when they do it, they can argue they have a reason to only release a little bit at a time because they're adding features. So they do have to put a little bit of development into them. It's not just straight up emulate the game. Right. So there is a little bit of understanding why it's not just going to be here's 70,000 games right away. And it's also Nintendo probably knew it would also upset people who bought games in the past that can't carry them over. But I think they just figured screw it. That's their own fault for not having a universal account system. So, whoops, Nintendo probably should have got on that train a decade ago. Mm-hmm. At least for Wii U, right? Like, anyways, they acted like they did for Wii U, and then they had to launch a whole new account system for Switch. So it's like, now we think this is a universal account system until the next system comes. It's a whole new system for
is that. It really?
I mean, it feels like it is. It feels more universal than it's ever been. But.
It's a universal Switch account system.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw this at you guys for a little bit. What do you think of Miyamoto essentially trying to... Because this is a developer kind of place. Basically telling developers and game publishers, especially when seeking partners, that you need to find someone to understand the value of your software. Because basically if you're going to partner with, say, Microsoft and use their Azure cloud or something, you need someone who understands your IPs. What do you think of him trying to basically say that video games should all at some point go towards a subscription style model for one reason or another, and that while there might be pushback, consumers are just going to accept it over time anyways?
Let me see.
You gonna read his quote? Yeah.
I'm just reading it again. So
I'm tossing it to you guys. What do you guys think about it?
Well, in general, I have my reservations about online stuff in that one day the online gets unplugged. And so there's a fundamental part of me that goes, anything that relies on online connection for you to be able to play it so that it can say, oh, yes, you have a subscription. that's sort of sad. On the other side of things, it is kind of cool when it's more of like almost like a Netflix situation. If they had their Netflix of Nintendo classic games, that would be absolutely incredible. Like I would never care about paying $10 a month if I had access to, 100 NES games, 100 SNES games, 100 N64 games. Like if it was something incredible like that, nobody I think would really care all that much.
Especially,
we're probably going to get it somewhere in between, right?
Yeah, especially if they offer those as able to download. So
downloads would be incredible.
Like okay, say they give you an option to stream, because like PlayStation does it, and
Right.
there's rumors Xbox is going to be playing around with it this next generation, and that's fine. I think having that as an option for people who I have fast enough internet, I can do that. So having that as an option for people is fine. Give them cheaper hardware, and then let them stream games and enjoy games. Just basically be a gamer on the cheap. That's the big advantage of game streaming. Big advantage of Netflix. Yeah, you pay, 10 to 14, $15 a month, but you get access to thousands and thousands of stuff with new stuff being added all the time that you would never be able to afford on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, same reason people are always paying for cable instead of just buying TV series all the time on DVD. Like, it's just cheaper. You're watching 20 series at once. You're not going to buy every season.
Right.
You might, if it's a show you really like Game of Thrones or something, but, in general, you're going to get more entertainment for your money. Now, obviously, that started to become a little defunct because of cable, or because of Netflix, I should say. Because Netflix undercut all that and gave you more, and gave you access to it now, enabled you to binge watch, no ads. And that was a model that just confused and baffled TV.
Yeah, right.
It really did. Because they'd be like, yeah, you pay and we give you ads. And they're like, or you could pay a lot less and have no ads and not even need a wire to your house. You can just do it wirelessly over your phone. Just completely destroying the market, almost in the way that music streaming did, right? Like that became within music downloading, music streaming, YouTube. Like it kind of sort of made the CDs and all that stuff not as relevant. Only now, like when you go to a store, right, you'll see some old classic CDs because they just haven't sold them. Or like greatest hits of some artists that they can't get to play on the radio anymore.
Or they're like 60 years old and they're like paranoid about
or like
music.
if you do see like a new release CD out there, it's from like a multi-platinum billion-dollar artist.
Yeah.
That like even is worth putting it out there because they will sell like 1 million of them. Even still, for people who maybe just want to play it in the car because they have a CD player in the car still. Or just like the collector's value of my favorite artist, I want to collect every album.
Give me a vinyl.
And that's come back too.
I know.
Vinyl's come back now too. Some of the biggest artists now have stuff out on vinyl for that niche audience.
Yeah.
I think in one of the years recently, vinyl outsold CD sales.
Yeah. Now all of that pales in comparison to just Spotify user base.
Right.
People listening for free on YouTube.
Yep.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like that cannibalized the market and made it. Now buying CDs, buying vinyl, it's all niche. That's a side thing, and. It's kind of like, Miyamoto doesn't say this, because I think he's talking more about the online service, because that's what Nintendo has coming out. But I wonder if he's also glancing at what, Xbox Game Pass.
Yes.
You mentioned $10 access to all, a bunch of Nintendo's classic library. Well, how about this? $10 a month access to classic library and all brand new video games coming out. Because that's what the Xbox is doing. Xbox One upped you. It's not just the classic games. Here's all our new games too. And you get them day and date. Same with anyone else. And now it's weird because, like, people, a lot of the detractors of the Xbox Game Pass, they looked at it as, okay, to justify Xbox Game Pass, $10 a month. That's that's $120 a year. Not counting the fact you have to have an Xbox Live subscription. Most people just, if you have an Xbox,
Even
you probably
then,
have a subscription anyways. So $120 a year, you need at least 2 exclusive Xbox games a year to equal out the value, right? 2 brand new $60 products, $120. That would equal out the value. What's been interesting is that lately, Xbox Game Pass has been adding non-exclusive games. And that, to me, really opened my eyes, because I didn't think that was going to happen, especially now. And when I'm like, okay, so now you got multi-platform games coming to your Game Pass. That's Netflix.
Yeah.
Like,
Straight
and this
up.
isn't streaming. Like, that was the big thing that's kind of holding back the PlayStation Now thing they're doing, and even PlayStation TV,
Right.
they're all doing streaming. And the TV service is fine, not available in enough markets, not enough channels yet for my taste. But I tested it out; it's okay. It just they're I think Sony spread themselves too thin. They should have figured out the game thing first, and then maybe tried TV later. And I get they wanted to get their foot in the door with DirecTV Now out there, and YouTube. You can even watch cable TV on now, Hulu. So I get they wanted to have their name out there, but like you already have this install base of systems, you can kind of drop this whenever.
Yeah, right.
But whatever. So they have like that streaming game service, but a lot of people have issues trying to get the games to work. So what Xbox said, look, we have Game Pass, we ain't streaming. You download that game, you play it. And for people out there who are like, oh, online DRM. Sure, there's a DRM. There is an online check once per week. Literally, you just have to log in once per week so you can make sure your subscription's active.
Mm-hmm.
So even if your subscription's not active, you still have a week before it won't let you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it'll just say you need to log in and make sure your subscription's active to continue playing this game.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not really even DRM. It's just them making sure you're actually paying for what you're playing.
Yeah.
And here's the really crazy thing, too. You decide to cancel your subscription. Any of the games you have downloaded, they will offer you the ability to buy those games for a discounted price.
Nice.
So you don't even have to reinstall them. You can just be like,
Classy.
oh, yeah, you can just keep the game for a discounted price. They're basically pulling a GameFly. It's what GameFly does.
Mm-hmm.
You pay, their service is more expensive. Well, they're sending you physical games, so I kind of get it. So it's like $25 a month. You can get like 1 or 2 games out at a time. And when you have them, instead of sending them back, you can just buy them for a discounted price.
Mm-hmm.
GameFly is actually a very smart service. I should probably take better advantage of it. They have a lot of Switch games, a lot of them. I should probably be doing. But the thing is, you don't get the cartridge with it, like the case. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, discounted. But I'm like, it's still like the GameStop discount, where like they don't give you the case.
Yeah, right. Thanks, GameStop.
So I can't put the case on my shelf. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So I can be one of those cool gamers that has a wall full of Switch games. Sure, I can be one of those cool gamers with a wall full of Switch games. Just the cartridges, the little baby cartridges.
Either that or you go online and you buy...
I'm going to Velcro tape them all and never be able to put them back in my Switch.
Either that or you just go online and you buy a bunch of blank game cases and print off a bunch of...
Print them out. You know how much money that would be? It would almost be cheaper just to go out and buy the game. It's really expensive to print all that and buy the cases. Anyways, you just gotta. What you have to do is just wait. If you want to do for 3DS games, that's fine.
Yeah.
Go dumpster diving at GameStop. They throw out all the 3DS game cases. You bring in a 3DS case with your 3DS game. When you sell it to them, they throw out the case. They don't keep the case. They don't got space for it.
Yeah, I suppose.
They literally don't have space for it, so they just throw them in the garbage can. So 3DS cases that'll work fine. I could fake a 3DS collection.
Yeah.
Seriously, just dumpster dive at GameStop once a week. You can fake a 3DS collection.
Or if
you can be like, look at all my 3DS games.
Or if you're like me,
of them.
you just ask your friend who's working at GameStop to bag them up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bag them up. Anytime someone brings it in, bag it up for me. Thanks. So I can just fake my collection.
Yeah.
Hey, it makes for good wall art.
It does.
Anyways.
Wow. We keep getting way off topic.
Well, it's because it's such a weird topic.
It is.
It's this idea that Miyamoto wants to normalize subscriptions, which... For all the Nintendo fans whining, it's already been normalized.
Yeah, kind of.
It's already been.
Not to mention, it's been normal for a while and at a much worse deal when it comes to MMOs, right? World of Warcraft. How many hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars have you spent, for those people who are addicted to that game, on one game?
And how many years of World of Warcraft that I keep telling myself that I couldn't afford the year pass, but then I kept paying every single month $15? That happened for at least 6 years of me playing it. You think how much that added up to over 6 years. Someone's about to do the math and go crazy. And just think, I've been playing World of Warcraft every year since 2004. 14 years. So they've gotten a lot of money out of me. And my justification for it is probably the same justification anyone who's ever paid that subscription fee has done. You play more than $15 worth of entertainment out of that a month.
For sure.
For a lot of people, it replaces them going to the movies and this and that, and it's fine. I'm not arguing that it's not worthwhile, especially since that's a continuous service. They're constantly updating it, and it is on their servers.
Right.
It's not P2P. So, but that was always special use cases, and many MMOs have tried to do the same thing and failed. The only ones that seem to succeed are ones like Guild Wars 2 and stuff like that. They go free to play, where they microtransaction the hell out of you. And the funny thing is, World of Warcraft kind of does it too. Although the microtransactions are not like present to you in the game, It's only if you go to the website. So they did make a separation there where like, yeah, we have microtransactions, but we're not shoving it in your face in the game.
Buy this
So you're
now!
basically not going to notice it if all you do is just play the game and never go to the website. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because it's normalized. It was, I mean, as you said, MMOs were kind of like the first thing to really get it normalized. Then Xbox normalized it on consoles, and then PlayStation followed up. Now Nintendo's doing it. And as much as I totally understand everyone against it, because I am against the idea of paying for access to internet I already have.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. And we can argue it's a good value compared to what MMOs do, compared to the other ones. But I also wonder, is it a good value? I'm not 100% sure because Nintendo's just saying, I guess if you really want to play those NES games with extra features, it's a good value.
The thing is
the voice app really a good value?
Is it a good value? Would they be doing it if it's a good value to us? Would they be doing it if they?
Well, think about this though. Like, yeah, okay, the other ones you pay $60 a year. To be fair, you can often find it for $45 a year. There's a lot of places you can get it for $45 a year. But let's say you're just an average consumer, you don't know that. So you spend $60 a year. You get more than $60 worth of games that have released in the past 2 years.
Yes.
On both of those platforms. You could literally you could pay that $60 for that year and never buy a game and have plenty of games to play.
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
It is a high value service they're giving you. And you think, oh, for $20 a year, we're getting some NES games. I'm like, that might be maybe a comparable value. Maybe. But the other services for $40 more are giving you, like, some of them even give you games that release the same year at times. Especially if those games weren't big sellers.
Was it Rocket League launched on PlayStation Plus? PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Plush.
Nice.
Like, it's such a... It's an interesting world we're growing up in where that's happened. Now you have Xbox Game Pass, which to me is just... Now they're adding multi-plat games and trying to add more and more all the time. Now you have EA on PC. You know, I'm subscribed to EA's service because I get access to all of their games on PC all year long for a cheap price. And it's more expensive than Game Pass. And you do get access to the EA Vault, which is nice. You want to go back and play the Mass Effect games. You want to go back and play the Dragon Age games. You get all of that. Plus, you get all the new games. And you get early access to them by like 10 days, which is crazy on PC. It's way better than even EA Access, which is really cool on Xbox. It's even better than that because you don't get to keep those games after the 5-day early access. So, the concern is obviously, like when I look at the services thing, there's let me just use Xbox as an example, so that's probably the worst case scenario so far. So you pay for your online service, then you pay for Xbox Game Pass. But wait, you also want EA games, so you pay for EA Access. Now you're paying for 3 separate subscription gaming services on one platform. And how many of those gaming services can really exist that are users willing to spend before they realize they're dropping over $100 a month on services?
Right.
And while there's a lot of value, like how much are you using each one every month? Or are you tending to use one of them more than the others and kind of waste your money on some of them?
Sure. And some people will say, well, what about all the streaming movie and all that stuff? I'm like, I get that. It's a fair argument. There's a zillion of those as well. Netflix isn't it. Hulu isn't it. There's a whole bunch of them. But most people aren't subscribed to a whole bunch of them. They pick one or two. That's what they're subscribed to. And you might be like, well, they'll just do that here, right? Like, oh, we'll just get the Xbox, the Xbox Online, the Xbox Game Pass. That's fine. That's fine. But the problem is on that same platform. This would be like going to Netflix. You subscribe to Netflix, but also on Netflix, by the way, we also offer this service, and this service, all separate, but through Netflix.
Hulu.
And we're going to keep reminding you those services exist. And look what you get.
That's literally Hulu.
And you feel like, oh, it's a $5 add-on here. It's a $10 add-on here.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to sound like cable.
Yeah. Wait. You got Netflix, but for $5 more a month, we give you HBO with it with Netflix.
That's always been a thing with HBO.
And then this, we give you another $5 with this. And it's like, eventually it adds up.
It does. And I think that's the concern with Nintendo is.
Here's the other concern too is that you said you got Xbox. EA. Now what if Bethesda starts to go to that? Each individual game company has their own service. You want to play these games, you have to go buy their service. There's only so much that,
Then again,
Right.
here's the counter. Video games is a very expensive hobby.
Right. Oh, yeah.
If
for
you're
sure.
someone who plays a ton of games, a wide variety of games, and you spend a lot of hours every week playing, not just like playing a few games, you play every Bethesda game that comes out, every Rockstar game that comes out, every new sports game that comes out, every new EA game, every new Xbox game, or whatever, Sony game if it's a PlayStation or Nintendo game. You play all those new games. It might sound like a lot up front, but when you add it all together, you could be saving yourself thousands of dollars a year by paying all these subscriptions. Like, we're talking about how it sounds like a lot up front. Like, reality is people aren't going to be paying all this at once. They're going to pay $60 for the year. Then, like, oh, the Xbox Game Pass service. Well, hey, look, we can get this for a $100 deal, in July for some summer, 4th of July deal. So we'll pay that then. No one's going to be like, we're going to pay $500 all at once for all these services. It's going to be like, we're going to pay a little bit here, a little bit. I mean, it's kind of
Right.
I don't pay my Netflix bill at the same time I pay my DirecTV Now bill.
Right, but what I'm saying is if each individual game company goes to a service and you're not
Right.
a gamer that plays everybody's games, you pay one game of this over here
sure.
and one game of this over
Well,
here
that's why-
and one
but-
game of this over here. You have to buy all three services in order to play those three games, and you may not care about
that's
the other stuff.
only if it's only available through service. We're not in a world where it's only available through service.
Right. I think that's just sort
Not
of
even
the
Netflix. It's
dystopian
not only
potential
available
future.
through Netflix unless it's a Netflix exclusive show, and even a lot of those are coming out on DVD.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like the big concern I think a lot of people have with games as a service is like it's going to be like movies, it's going to be like TV shows. You mean it's going to be like movies and TV shows where you could still buy them individually and own them?
As long as that's the case, then yes.
Because that's still the case in
Right.
the two biggest markets, the music market, and I mean, I know not the entire music market, just like not the entire video game market, because some games literally are digital only.
Mhm.
And that's just the indie scene, like that's just the way it is. You can't do anything about that. Games are already going that direction. But
Except that they also have the unique companies that decide we're going to put those games on like a limited run games, right?
Yeah.
They take digital only games and make them physical. Would we have that sort of thing happening too?
I think so, because I look at it like this. How long have PC games basically been digital now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, what, decades?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, when's the last time people bought a PC that included a CD drive that was actually a good PC? Like, if you're doing it, you're probably getting screwed because they're charging you $15 extra for a CD drive you don't even need.
Mhm.
So like the thing is, and this isn't a diss you. If you bought a bells and whistles computer and has a CD drive, it's fine. Maybe you really wanted that 4K player on there or something, which is fine. Like if you built a media PC in your living room, I totally get you have a Blu-ray player on it. Like,
Yeah,
of
for
course.
sure.
The best quality you're ever gonna get is local versus streaming. Regardless of how amazing your internet is, local is always going to be slightly faster, slightly better, less latency. At least for now. So maybe we'll live in a day where, I mean, we blink and everything's perfect. I don't know. We live in a 0 MS living space. I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Good lord.
I don't even know if it's technologically possible. But I look at it as, look at the other mediums that have been gobbled up by digital.
Right.
They still have a healthy physical market. Yeah, it's niche.
Right.
But
No,
it's still there for
right,
the
right.
people who don't.
I think
wanna get the
that's
services.
just a worry that everybody has, is that it's just going to be, you have to subscribe to all these different services just to play one game if you want to.
Sure. And I get that concern, but I wonder where it comes from when all the other places that have been gobbled up by digital still have a healthy physical. It's not in every store, but it's still there. You really want to buy it, it's there online. Go buy it.
No, I know. Yeah, no,
Um,
as long as that's the case, then yeah.
But I think what people are worried about, and this is where the legit concern comes in, is the physical medium for video games is only going to exist if the boxes exist that take it. What happens if Xbox, that rumored Xbox Scarlet, has a standalone physical box and a streaming box that's cheaper? That's the rumor out there. Let's say that's legit. Fine, they run with that. Then the next gen, they do it again. And then they do it the third gen from now, all they have is a streaming box. The physical medium can't exist then. There's no way to physically play the games anymore.
Right.
You can only stream them. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point.
No, I'm sure
If it's just,
we will
well,
eventually, but
you say that, but then we say, look, PCs remove the CD drive and the DVD drive. You can still buy them. Cars are starting to get rid of the CD players and offer Bluetooth, but you can still add a CD player to your car when you go buy it. It's an option. You could take it out of the box, pay the extra $300 or whatever, and they'll put it in.
It's going to be the vinyl market of video games.
Well, but that's my point.
I put a record player in my car.
I'm curious if video games will ever get to would Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft get to the point where they don't offer, even if it's for that high-end super niche market, the Xbox One X market. I wonder if it will ever reach a point where the console manufacturers won't offer you the ability to buy a box. Even if you can't buy it in stores, you can only order it online. I don't know if we'll ever live in a reality where you won't be able to play physical media. Because we don't live in that reality for any other entertainment medium that is way further down this rabbit hole than video games is.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if those haven't got to that point, how are video games even going to be a concern like that in our lifetimes?
That doesn't necessarily mean that it can't take a detour on that rabbit hole and find a different rabbit hole to go down.
Well, that
does that.
Here's a good counter argument. This actually isn't one of our topics this week. The MPD came out. Mm-hmm. Octopath Traveler is the #1 selling game on the MPD for July. Yes. It only tracked physical sales for Switch. Mm-hmm. It beat out games like GTA, like Grand Theft Auto 5 that sells physical and digital. Crazy that the game is still selling it that high as it does. Right. Grand Theft Auto is the game that keeps on giving. But all the other platform games that are on there have tracking for physical and digital sales. Just physical sales of Octopath Traveler destroyed everything else. For that month. Physical games are way too popular. When we're talking about this hypothetical thing, we're talking about a reality that doesn't exist. We're talking about a reality where there isn't a large enough demand for physical games to keep physical games around. Because that's all the market's going to determine if they get rid of a box that plays physical media. My thing is, by the time we get let's say this future exists where we no longer own our games, right? It's all services. We can't buy a physical. We have no way to purchase a game and own it. That's not even true on PC. You can purchase and own games still. But let's just say we reach where it's all like Netflix. You don't own it. Netflix wants to go down, you're done. Netflix servers are down, you can't watch it. Can't play it. Let's say that's a future that's coming to video games. The only reason that would ever become the norm, become the standard, get rid of physical, is because we as consumers are telling them we no longer want physical. Netflix didn't blow up because it told people what they want. It blew up because people wanted that over buying DVDs. And even still, the DVD market was big enough to still keep it on. They still make DVDs, not just Blu-rays. DVDs they still make.
Yeah, I know.
Because the market is still big enough to have them. So my thing is, with video games, is it could be the exception. But if it's the exception, it's because 90% of gamers told them we don't want to buy physical games anymore.
And the thing is, I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if it ever did happen.
My thing is, I think the subscription model, and I know this is the tip of the iceberg what Nintendo's doing. It's just online services at this point. We don't know. I mean, obviously there's the NES games in there, but we don't really know if they'll ever go with Xbox Game Pass route. But I think what's interesting about this entire thing is that there's always a lot of focus on the negative side. Tons of focus. Why do I got to pay to access internet I already paid for? Okay, I hear your argument, but you're getting all this other stuff that you wouldn't have otherwise. Why can't that just be a separate thing? I get the argument. Your argument, games as a service. They turn that service off. You don't have access anymore. You don't own anything. You are just renting. You're literally just renting. Netflix is all just renting. You don't own anything on Netflix. You're just renting the ability to watch this stuff. Netflix is adding and removing movies all the time. They used to have House on there. I watched it all the time on there. Then they got rid of it, and I was like, oh man, now it's on Amazon Prime. Well, I just happen to have Amazon Prime, so I can still watch House. But not everyone's going to have Amazon Prime like that. So you don't have a control over it. But at the same point, think about all the positives. And this is why did a service like that, where the end user has zero control, get big and popular? Because it turns out, if you really like TV shows and you really like movies, it's expensive to watch a bunch of stuff. Netflix made it possible to spend a very small amount of money every month to watch as much of it as you want. And reality is, video games are an even more expensive medium. People talk all the time, it cost me $30 to go see a movie. Yeah, and it costs you $60 per video game, and there's 3 of them coming out a day.
Yeah.
And that's just at like retail stores. We're not talking about the $25 indie games and the $10 ones and how you could, the Steam sales that happen, and next thing you know, you drop $300 and you got 7,000 games and you're only going to play 2 of them. But you got such a good deal.
You did.
Yeah, they gave you games that no one's going to play. So the developer made a penny. Congrats.
Woohoo! Yeah, buddy.
It's one of those things that I wonder if, like, I think a reality can exist like exists currently, especially more in the DVD space and the movie space, where you can have, like, traditional cable's still around.
Mm-hmm.
So is traditional satellite, despite, I mean, it's less than it used to be, but it's still around, still exists. I don't know if it's going to go the way of the dodo. Maybe it will. Maybe everything will be replaced by internet someday. I don't know.
The way of the dodo.
But
yes.
I feel like, and I know some people are going to say I'm defending this stuff, it's because I think the best approach is to do what movies and shows do. You get both. Get the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
The big advantage to... let's set aside a streaming service, just a subscription service for video games, like Xbox Game Pass, where you can download the games and even buy them for a small discount if you decide to cancel your service. The big advantage of that is that video games are so expensive that the average consumer is going to get to enjoy more of them for less money.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, that's always a positive. That is the most pro-consumer thing I've ever heard in my life. Spend a little bit of money, but gain access to more games than you would ever play otherwise.
Well, there's also that this game looks cool, but I don't know if I'd spend $60 on it. Well, now I get it through the service, so I might as well try it out.
You're more likely to play.
Yeah.
You're more likely to do it. You're more likely to be forgiving.
Right.
Like, think about all the games that come out and need those day one patches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, if you're only paying $10 a month, you'd be like, oh, it needs a day one patch, big deal.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, they said they're going to fix it next week. Well, cool, I'll check it on next week. What do I pay?
Yeah, yeah.
Like $2 for this week? It's okay, I can wait.
Right.
Like, I think people will be more forgiving as well. Because think about all the, like when PUBG came out, it was a broken mess. Fortnite came out. It was kind of broken, but it was free.
Yeah.
People are a hell of a lot more forgiving to wait for it to get fixed.
Yeah.
When they're not spending that much on it.
You mean not
or
spending
nothing.
$60 for a beta?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, so I think that's what gets lost in all this is I don't actually think physical media should go away. And I don't think in my lifetime, got to remember my lifetime, what I got 40 years left, 50 years left, 60. I mean, I got 70 if I'm lucky.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You think about it, the clock's ticking, right? The clock's ticking. I don't think in my lifetime we're going to reach a point where physical games are not available. I just don't think it's going to happen. It hasn't happened to PC yet. I could still go out and buy all the big PC games.
Mm-hmm.
The big ones, of course. Not all the ones that are digital only. There's nothing you could do about that. Just like you can't do anything about indie games that don't come out physically. You can't do anything about that. I mean, you can ROM dump and create your own physical media. Like, technically you can, okay? But not necessarily legal all the time.
Rabble.
It's a situation that I feel like there's a lot of butting heads. There's a lot of, man, I would like to see video games become cheap and affordable for everyone. Mm-hmm. Or, man, if you can't afford video games, too bad, you shouldn't play them.
Right.
Because I like video games the way it is. I like the ownership of the game. I like having that physical copy on my shelf. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, what games do you play the most of? And then you hear them mention, oh, I play Smash Bros. Online and Mario Kart Online and Splatoon 2 Online and ARMS Online. So what happens when Nintendo takes the servers down? You still don't have access to online. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, all those games you have, they're useless anyways. Yeah, you own them. You can launch them. Can't
play
really
them locally.
I mean, you can play locally for some of them. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that the most popular games in the world are all multiplayer. Mm-hmm. Most of them. I shouldn't say all of them. Most of them.
For the most part, yeah.
Online multiplayer.
Yeah, online multiplayer. Correction. Thank you. So it's like, so you're already, as soon as they stop supporting the online multiplayer, you're done anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So why does it matter? Outside of having that shiny box on your shelf as a collector, why does it matter? I can understand for single-player games. And this is the thing. I don't think the physical medium is going away anytime soon. I think the digital medium is going to become more popular. Game streaming, like streaming of games to your house for those who can do it, is going to become more popular. I think Netflix-style game delivery systems are going to be more popular. And I think Nintendo, what Shigeru Miyamoto is kind of talking about here is that you would be stupid to ignore that this is where things are going.
Oh, for sure.
And if Nintendo, and it's funny because this is coming right after he stubbornly said we're going to try to force fixed pricing on mobile.
Right.
But for everything else, really we should be thinking about that subscription model.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then do a subscription model on mobile.
Yeah.
$5 a month, access to all your mobile games.
Yeah.
Done.
That's kind of a good idea. They could kind of put it right on like the Nintendo account.
Yeah,
Like,
do it to make the Nintendo
active.
Online app worth something.
Well, there you go with the universal account.
Exactly. And as long as you have your account paid up, you can access, all
Right.
these games that are connected to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of positives and negatives with this whole thing, and that's the thing. I feel like, in my mind, gaming is better when more people have access to it.
Mhm.
I don't feel like because I have more money than somebody else or somebody else has more money than me that should mean that they deserve access more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's the way the world works. The richer you are, the more you get to do, the more you can buy. Well, I get that, but it's like, but people use that as like a measure of superiority in gaming.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Because I own 100 Switch games,
people-
and you only own 5.
People use that as a superiority complex
know.
and everything.
But
not
then
just gaming.
how do you get rid of it? You make it so the people who can't afford that find a way to afford it. Here's the thing. Here's how companies make money from it. It's because the people that weren't buying the games anyways, now you're getting their money.
Mhm.
And because you're offering these as digital downloads to their system, it's costing you nothing.
Basically, yes.
So because
Pretty
it's
much.
costing you basically nothing, just a little bit of bandwidth, but because it's costing you basically nothing, the bandwidth's easily covered by their fee. You are actually generating money by people who weren't going to buy your games in the first place because they can't afford to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like when people ask, how are they going to make money? Because most of the people that like buying $60 packaged goods are going to keep buying $60 packaged goods.
Mhm.
This service isn't for them.
Mhm.
The service is for
Right.
the people who can't afford games, or for those that are like realizing in the back of their mind, man, I just went over my budget last year and all my receipts. I spent $8,000 on video games. I could have just spent $120 and got all the games I wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
So there's also that's just being a smart consumer, being like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't be spending all that money. Now maybe it's the physical medium's worth it for you, so worth your money.
Yeah.
You might have the subscription people laughing at you for wasting that money, but who cares? That's what you want to spend your money on. Again, I think a best of both worlds can exist, and we shouldn't be afraid of that potential future. Am I going to take advantage of a service like that for Nintendo? I mean, I'm going to have the Nintendo Online service. Would I have it if I wasn't a YouTuber? That's always a good question. Because we
I
do
would.
online multiplayer games and streams, so I just have
for
to
sure.
have it.
No, I know. Yeah, yeah.
But, I mean, I maybe just to test it out for that first year.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, how can they keep me hooked? I don't know. Are the NES games going to be good enough? Are they going to add more content? I don't know. And that's just one service. Who knows what other services might come. Speaking of online stuff, the next topic actually dealt with voice chat.
Oh, nice.
Because this kind of is a nice transition. I think this is why I purposely made the second topic. Nintendo and the NES game stuff, right? So Nintendo announced on the official Nintendo Online website that the NES games, the 10 that they're releasing at launch and the future ones they add, are all going to have voice chat while you're playing through the Nintendo Switch Online app. We also learned a little earlier that Diablo 3 will also be using voice chat through the Nintendo Switch Online app. These are the first real announcements for that application at all. It has been it was released as a beta was showing Splatoon 2, and there's been zero new announcements for that thing ever since.
Yeah.
It's just been, yep, once we charge, you can only get access to it by charging, but we're not going to tell you what you get access to.
Right.
Now they're saying, well, now we're going to expand it to Diablo 3 and all these NES games for voice chat purposes. What do you guys think about that? Especially coming off of the fact that Fortnite has local voice chat. Now, granted, Fortnite's not going to be using the service.
Well, I think there's kind of two different thoughts to discuss here. One, the method of using voice chat, and two, adding online multiplayer with voice chat functionality to NES games. So, I think that's interesting as a, typically they've been a multiplayer focused couch co-op type games.
Sure. Well,
and
yeah,
now
but
they're adding multiplayer into games that have never had multiplayer, which is an interesting aspect.
Yeah.
And not good for multiplayer either. Like the original Super Mario Brothers, one person plays until they die, and then the next person plays. Like, that's not great multiplayer. No. So having the voice chat in there makes a lot more sense.
Sure.
So that when you're playing these games that are really lopsided like that, you can still be having fun with your friends along the way instead of getting bored. Like, die already.
Well, you might be saying that anyways, but...
Yeah, true. But at least you can taunt them with it and not have to, text them.
Yeah, right.
But no, the app, terrible. Still terrible. They've never really upgraded that app at all. Like, they've done nothing with it for months, and it still sucks. And no other games have been added?
Here's the thing. Like, why? I mean, the thing is, you can just do voice chat through Discord on your phone for free if you're going to use your phone.
Right.
Yes.
And it's better. Way easier to manage, and you can actually message people.
Yep.
So my thing is with the phone app is the only thing I ever thought was cool about it was the companion aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't know what that is, because you've never touched the app, in Splatoon 2, you can load up the Dungeon Online app. You select Splatoon 2, which I don't know why there's a default to that. It's the only thing in there. Anyways, and in there, it's really cool. You can like dig up statistics, including completely useless statistics that are just fun. Like, in your total playtime, in the amount of area you have painted, it covers this expanse of land in the real world.
Nice.
It's really cool. Like, you have painted enough to paint the entire, Pyramid of Giza and stuff like that. Like, just crazy stats like that are fun, kind of like a fun fact, but irrelevant. But it adds a value of at least giving you, like, you're not home or you're not around your Switch and you're just like, I'm gonna go through cool facts. Oh, look at all my stats being turned into all this cool. Look at all this additional information. And on the side, you can in Splatoon 2, the companion app aspect, you can because gear is a big thing in Splatoon 2. You can actually order gear, not even spending real money. You can select gear and have it sent to your game from your phone app on the go. And just get some new gear, just messing around, doing whatever. I think all of that's great. I think that, to me, is brilliant. That's companion.
Yes, absolutely.
But the voice chat aspect was always terrible.
That should have been all the apps for, though, was that companion aspect.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We haven't heard that there's going to be a companion app for Diablo 3. We just heard voice chat. Haven't heard there's going to be a companion app for the NES games. Just voice chat. And maybe there will be. I shouldn't presume there's not going to be because the only thing on there has it. So maybe these things will too.
Right.
But
I don't understand why you need an app to voice chat.
Well, not only that, but they made it sound like you'd have all these benefits.
Revolutionary.
And when it comes right down to it, it's actually even worse, even more clunky than I would have thought. What's kind of cool is, hey, you're in a match. Before the match starts, you're all together, it's normally, 5 on 5.
Yeah.
4 on 4, sorry.
Yeah, you're trash talking.
All 8 of you are talking together. The match starts, then it separates Team A and Team B, 4 and 4, talking in different rooms, kind of.
Basically, like every other multiplayer game on every system ever.
Right.
Right. Great. So that's perfect. However, starting up your room is the worst experience in Splatoon.
Yeah, you go back and forth between the game and the app. So terrible.
Yeah, you got to go into your app before you go into the room in the game, and you can only start a room in the game that will have the voice chat enabled if you specifically go to a option. You can't start a multiplayer match and then go into the phone I'm just going to add a voice chat room. Nope, can't do it.
You can't just have lobbies with your friends, period, and just talk while you're playing games. You can't message friends. Here's the thing. What's your phone? What do people do the most with their phone? They don't voice. They text. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can't text anyone. This is the perfect companion app to have me be able to text all my friends on. Who's the counter argument? Well, who is going to be going on their Switch to text? They're not. They're going to go on the app.
Yeah.
This is why they shouldn't have killed Miiverse.
Mm-hmm.
The Nintendo Switch Online app's perfect for that. Now it's on your phone. Not through a website. Yes, they had a mobile version, but it was just a mobile website. An actual app dedicated to chatting with your friends.
Yeah.
And giving you extra stats and all this, ordering gear for certain games and inter-cross activity. You say you can look at, just like on Switch, you can kind of look at your friends' play activity. You could do it from your phone now and see what games they've been playing lately.
Right, exactly.
You could schedule, think of it as a scheduler where you could be like, hey, I'm going to select all these 8 friends and be like, hey, if you guys want, at 8 p.m. tonight I'm playing Splatoon 2 if you want to come join me. Here's the thing. Sure. You can say yes or no. Nintendo, I'm giving you a gold mine of ideas here that the app could actually be useful and used for.
Right.
The actual act of voice chatting, the way that it at least is handled, should not be on the app at all.
Put it locally. Yeah. You can have all your companion app stuff, like your stats, like you're inviting friends, stuff like that. You could have that on your phone app. That's awesome.
And
but
I'll even go a step further than this. You can have voice chat on your phone. That's fine. But have it where people can like not be on their Switch. Like say kind of like a phone call. But say you're in a group, you're playing with a group of your friends like on Discord, right?
You mean like we're doing right now with this podcast? We're in a phone call with FiveJay over here?
Yeah, we're not really on a phone, but
right.
What I'm saying is you are say FiveJay's streaming, right? Mm-hmm. And somehow he's playing Paladins and he's able to get everyone together locally on the Switch to talk. Mm-hmm. But you have a friend who all of your other people you're playing with are friends with that would love to be, who's watching the stream with you or whatever, and would love to be in on the conversation. Mm-hmm. Now on Discord, obviously you just add him and you go. But you can't do that in the app because he's not actively in the game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're doing that right now.
App,
with that.
It would be really cool if you'd be like, hey, you can optionally, like the friend is asking to join, the host, in this case, say FiveJay, would approve if that person can join or not, and they can just join right on their phone and chat away and have fun. Yeah. That is a useful point because then you're not forcing people to use the app, but it's one of those, in addition to, if someone doesn't want to turn on their Switch, but they just want to chat with you, they can. Mm-hmm. Now but then some might argue, well, why don't you just partner with Discord? The only reason I could think is because Discord's starting to partner with other companies like Xbox, and it's a competitive thing. That's the only thing I can think of. Nintendo does their own thing.
Yeah, I know.
The Nintendo Switch Online app could have been amazing. It still might be. There could be a zillion things.
We still don't know.
All these things we're talking about.
No.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
That's the sad part. We're less than a month away.
We spent a long time talking about services. We don't know what this service is going to be beyond access to online and some NES games. Right. And here's the thing. We haven't even seen what these new aspects to NES games are and how they work. We've just been told. Yeah. Right. We've not seen one video of how does swap play work. When I'm playing Legend of Zelda, how does swap play actually work with a friend over the internet? Still don't know. And a month from now, I'm paying for it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
It's like, I'm sure, guys, by the time it launches, we're going to know. But the point is, I should already know. They're already selling the service.
Yeah.
You can already buy access. You can already buy codes for the service off Amazon.
Wow.
You should already know what you're paying. Imagine this, folks. You knew nothing about Breath of the Wild, didn't even know it existed until a month before release. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even then, you're just aware it exists.
Yeah.
You don't know any information until a week before it comes out. Mm-hmm. Is that an okay thing? Is it okay for you not to know? You can pre-order this game. We're not going to tell you. It's the next Zelda game. Trust us. Mm-hmm. It's like, sure.
I'm talking about the online service.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what they're doing. Yeah. They're saying, look, we gave you the bare bones. Mm-hmm. The same stuff. Basically, what we know today is what we knew January of last year.
Yep.
Yeah, there's an online service. Thank you.
And it was supposed to come out well before January.
The family plan. That was a new thing, the family plan announcement.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you made it very much more clear on multiple ways to pay for the service. So what is the service?
Yeah.
What benefit do I get?
Pay.
You keep telling me how amazing this online app is. Yeah. Well, everyone's telling you it hasn't been so amazing since you launched it. So why is it going to be amazing now that NES games are in it? Yeah. What about that makes it worthwhile?
Well, besides NES games,
does it feel like they might be holding on to a secret?
Maybe.
Are they going to drop something really cool?
Is that they have this thing in their back pocket they're going to whip out and be like, yeah, see, guys, we told you it was going to be worth the wait.
Yeah, right.
But I'm like, but what has Nintendo ever done with online to make you think they're even savvy enough to have a secret? I think they have a secret. I think whatever it is completely lame. And they think it's awesome. They think it was worth the wait for this big online direct they're going to drop a week before the service comes out. They're going to be like, man, it's been building up to this. They're going to build up the hype. They're going to release all the memes on Twitter, get people hyped for this big thing. And they're going to announce something like, now, with the online service, if you use the voice chat through the online app, you get double My Nintendo Club points. And it's going to be like, that's the big thing we've been holding off. Now, you get double the value by giving us money.
Honestly, that would be the most Nintendo thing ever.
But that's the thing. Like, it feels like if there is a big thing they're saving up, what have they ever done to make you trust that big thing is actually good?
Right.
Because they hype up a lot of things they think are going to be big that end up
then
not
just
being.
flop.
Let me give you a recent example.
Mitomo.
Nintendo Labo.
Yep.
I think Labo's great.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think the marketing on it was fantastic. I don't even think there's anything wrong with the initial entry price, and a lot of people think there is.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But we have to admit at this point that it did not sell what Nintendo thought it was going to sell.
No.
They were banking on that being a system seller. It was not a system seller. They thought it was going to be this big blue ocean, massive Wii Sports style success. It was not that.
Yeah.
Is it successful enough to keep making it? Sure. That's why they have more kits coming out. It's obviously doing enough that they can keep supporting it. And because they touted they're playing the long game with it, which they never said before it launched.
Yeah.
They never mentioned the long game with Labo before it launched. Only now, months later, after the sales are done, they're like,
"See, we
it's
told
the long game. It's going to sell millions."
That's what they were saying about the Wii U the whole time. We're playing the long game.
Yeah, it's like our titles tend to be evergreen. I'm like, you're right. Your title, like, look,
Yes.
Breath of the Wild, still one of the top 10 sellers, top 5 sellers in July, and it's over a year old. You're right. But it was also a big seller when it came out.
You're right. Cardboard's probably going to be around in 100 years.
It's like, reality is they really hyped it up. They spent a ton on marketing, and there's no way in heck they might not even recoup the total cost on their marketing. Their marketing campaign with that was bigger, almost bigger than Mario Odyssey's. It was massive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They were setting up like custom built buildings all over the country for families to come try this out. It was crazy. And my argument ever since my argument before it came out, but even more so now, is that they should have been targeting schools.
You're right. No, I know for
They
sure.
should have made it an education tool.
Mm-hmm.
Education tool, fine. Now you're making partnership with the government.
And the thing
That's money.
they
That's
still
money,
can.
money. They still can. And there are schools that are talking to. I know there was a school in the UK, a school system that was actually talking to Nintendo about potentially making it part of the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
For physics and for elementary school kids, and I think that's actually a brilliant. That's where really the money's at for Nintendo with Labo, and maybe they'll get there anyways. It happened with Wii. Wiimotes started becoming a thing people were using in rehab, so it could get to that point where maybe it's not a mass consumer thing, but it's a mass people thing when it comes to education. But the thing is that's not what Nintendo advertised it as. That's not what Nintendo aimed for. Mm-hmm. Nintendo wanted it to be the next big system seller. They thought it would carry all the sales until summer. And it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if there's something they're hiding they think's going to be a big deal, I don't know what it could be. Like, even if they say, we're going to give you messaging your friends. Yeah! So you're giving us a bare basic feature, and you're making me use my phone to do it. If I'm using my phone to do it, I'm already messaging my friends through my phone. Right. Why do I need to pay you to text my friend?
Yeah, it seems like they really misunderestimate what they are going to find that's a popular thing for them and what isn't. Like, they legitimately didn't think that the NES Classic was going to sell all that well. And then they went, oops, holy crap, look at this thing go.
Yeah,
I guess we should maybe start producing some more again, huh?
Yeah.
Get on it.
Okay, well, we did that. Let's do the SNES. And you know what? Let's just bring back the NES because people still want to buy that thing. Yeah. Oh, and look, it's been at the top of the sales charts for months.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And this month, for July, the only reason it wasn't at the top, the SNES and NES combined, is because Switch was at the top. It's like, and what happened? A game came out people wanted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's... And to be fair, I mean, Mario Tennis Aces was top of June, so it just didn't sell systems.
Right.
Yeah, it just wasn't a system seller. It was just a game that people who had a Switch bought. Whereas Octopath Traveler, surprisingly enough, was a game that people thought was worth picking up a Switch for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, that's all. I did not think Octopath Traveler... I'm on record saying I did not think Octopath Traveler would be a system seller. I thought it would sell well. But I didn't think anyone was going to buy a Switch specifically to play Octopath. Glad to be wrong on that front.
Yeah.
I'm so
glad. It was
kind
wrong. Of a similar thing with Bravely Default. Like, it's probably not going to do all that great. Weird name, JRPG, whatever. But boom, exploded.
Yeah, see, my evidence for Octopath Traveler was, well, Bravely Default. Sold very, very well, but it wasn't a system seller. Pokemon's a system seller.
Right.
New Super Mario Bros. Land, that's a system seller. Yeah. Bravely Default wasn't. But, again, I was proven wrong. And I wonder if I was proven wrong because I want to see people were starved for content, but these are people who didn't own a Switch. So
Yeah.
what are they starved for? They didn't own one. So I wonder if it... And there was that stat out there that like 70% of people who own a Switch also own a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox. I think it's because maybe Octopath Traveler is that unique case where it hit with that crowd. And they are like, I love JRPGs. I've been waiting for one like this for a long time.
Yeah.
I'll pick up a Switch to play that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pixel art, but it also looks like HD photography at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, Octopath Traveler's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There might be a day we have a whole podcast dedicated to that game. And I might have to kick Eric off since he doesn't know what's going on because he's never played it.
That doesn't mean I can't play the demo.
The demo. All you can play is the demo.
3-hour demo.
For months.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
or nothing, I suppose. That means you're going to get spoiled the hell out of what happens in the game.
Yeah,
Right. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to buy the thing anyways.
Yeah, right.
You bastard!
Yeah.
Support Square Enix, a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I think I figured out how much is the online service again?
Oh, $20
a year.
$20
so $2 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so I figured out their big secret. For an extra $20 a year, you can pay us double.
Then we'll give you 40 NES games.
Yes.
Whoa.
No, they won't give you anything else. You can just pay us double.
No, I bet you it'll be like, no,
isn't it a great idea?
2-year subscription.
Yeah.
For $38.99.
Yeah.
You can save a whole $1.
You can.
50 cents a year. It adds up.
No, we'll give you a 2-year subscription for $60.
It adds up.
Wait.
Think about that. It adds up. You do that for 20 straight years. You have a free year.
Oh yeah. There you go. No. They'll give you. They'll sell you the 2 years for $60.
Oh, jeez. So I think well, you know what? We're gonna go to the third topic. We're gonna skip the last topic. The last topic we were gonna talk about had to do with Super Mario Party thoughts. We'll save that for another podcast because I think we could probably do a whole podcast dedicated to Super Mario Party because that's gonna be one of the big games or bigger games. Cool. Bigger games coming out. There was a ton of news that came out this week from Gamescom about it. We'll have to have FiveJay back on because I know he watched a little video on it. It also gives us more time to research it because we're a little bit over time what we usually do. But again, it was the first traditional podcast in a while, so we'll let it slide. Yeah. I do want to touch on this last topic because I just haven't talked to you guys in a long time about any of this stuff. And that is, what game are we excited for the most, a.k.a. planning to get next for Switch, and why?
I'll let you go first, Eric. Oh, maybe.
Wow.
Not.
Probably Pokemon.
Okay.
Oh, good choice.
I mean, it was fun, the demo, and I know we said we would get it for this. Not
yeah.
but
it's one of those, he's dedicated to getting it, so
yeah. Well, I mean, and even then, it was fun. It brought back nostalgia for Pokemon.
Yep.
At least partially, until I get into it and it's like, they completely screwed this part up. Thank you, I'm done.
Okay. Good choice. FiveJay, what do you got?
Honestly, the first one I'm probably going to be really excited to get is going to be The Messenger, and that's coming out in just like a few days.
Yep.
So I'm a big retro head, like a good solid indie with really good pixel art and especially authentic 8-bit or 16-bit music. Like, that's awesome.
Nice.
Like Shovel Knight, right?
Sure.
Messenger is awesome in that it's both an 8-bit and a 16-bit game.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And
I might have to change my
music is something
change my
awesome.
answer.
The gameplay looks like what you hoped that Ninja Gaiden would be. And hopefully not nearly as cheap.
Well, okay.
So it just looks awesome.
Okay. Great. No,
nice. I might have to change my answer.
I knew you were going to go with like an indie game or something because I'm like, perfect. We're going to do a nice variety of games here. Eric's going to go mainstream
more choices
Nintendo.
if you want to do more than one game.
It's okay. We'll come back around. Because I knew Eric was probably going to mainstream Nintendo, something from E3. I figured you were going to go indie because you play a lot of indie games. And I'm going to go third party.
There you go.
So I was thinking about Mario Party as being the one I'm excited for most. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not. I'm probably going to pick it up. In terms of like next game I buy, I know for sure that's on the list.
Mm.
I'm not. I might pick up something in between. Might go back and get the Mega Man collection. Or something like that. Maybe finally Dead Cells. Not just... Forget the controversy. The game.
Right.
The game's amazing.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of back catalog games I want to get, let alone new indie games. But the game I know, regardless of anything else that happens until it comes out, that I am picking up day one, Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yep. That was definitely a top choice.
And it has nothing to do with Fox McCloud being in the game. It has nothing to do with the potential leak from IGN that there might be other Star Fox characters in the game. It's got nothing to do with any of that.
No, it's a fabulous game.
Well,
The game itself is amazing.
it does look amazing. I wouldn't say that it has nothing to do with it for me. Those
Well, it might
elements
be
are
for
very
you,
exciting
right,
for
right.
me.
and for a lot of other people. I think that's the big interest for Nintendo fans, right? Is that
for sure.
on the surface, especially as you're playing like as Fox, it kind of sort of feels like a Star Fox game.
Does it have a release date yet?
Yes.
I think, I was going to say, when the heck does it come out?
October 16th, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
When's Pokemon coming out again?
November 16th.
Okay. So, yeah, well, then, yeah, Starlink's probably in there. I'm not up to date on my release dates, so.
I do want to.
Yeah,
everyone knows at this point. There's no point in me making funny. I just look like an asshole now.
well, I wasn't
am
going
an
to say
asshole.
anything, but.
No, it's just that game.
it's-
I'll say this. If I did not go hands on at E3, I don't think I'd be saying that game right now. I
Right.
think this is the one advantage. This is why game demos are awesome.
Yeah.
I would have looked at that as, oh, that looks kind of interesting. How's it different than Everspace? How's it different than No Man's Sky? Like, I would have just been like, it's just another space shooter. All right, no big deal. And sure, Fox McCloud's inclusion as an Nintendo fan would have piqued my interest. I would have been like,
Yeah.
oh,
Cool.
Star Fox is in it. That's going to make me at least look at it when it comes out.
I might think about buying
But
it.
I played it. I played it twice. I've spent
Yeah.
an hour and a half with that game. In
Yeah.
handheld mode and on TV mode. And I didn't want to stop. And they actually said the demo's endless. So if it wasn't for them cutting you off, you don't have to stop.
Yeah.
You can just keep going.
Yeah.
I wish I had a private demo where I could play it for like 5 hours. Right? Because it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I did get to play as the R-Wing, didn't get to play as Fox. The R-Wing was available to play in the digital, which was handheld mode. Was not available for the toys yet. They just had it in their display case. You couldn't use the toy.
Looks awesome, though.
So, and the Toys of Life thing was actually all right.
Yeah, it was cool.
It actually was. It wasn't as.
It worked really well.
It was a lot. They were really light, but they felt solid. So they didn't feel cheap, but they weren't so heavy that like it made you feel like you have a bird in my head.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish I
Were
would
they
have did. I was
detailed?
actually got my hands on those.
Oh yeah, probably.
'Cause I
should
didn't-
like say just hold this for a second, especially when I had the big ship built up with the
Right.
extra sprawling arms out. Because
Yeah,
you
right.
could do anything. It's crazy. You could have your gunfire behind you if you want. It's really cool in how they did it. And my thing. It was actually kind of weird when I put the extra, like I had like a double wing action on the right side at one point. I put one wing on, then I attached another wing to it, and it actually adds that to the game. And then your ship becomes unbalanced and starts like smashing into the ground. That was so fun.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's got a really cool physics engine to it. But
And then you plow yourself into the beginning of the thing.
well,
you
yeah,
just plow yourself right
they,
to the earth.
they didn't tell you
Right
what
in
button
the-
to hit to pull up. Hey, you want to pull up? How?
Smack.
Oh, it's telling you, but it's like flashing a little thing around the
right.
corner, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, hit
What?
Y.
Oh.
Oh, whoops. Would have been nice to know before.
I think the guy said that was his most favorite thing is to watch everybody just smoke
that's
the
why
planet.
he wasn't telling anyone. He's like, everyone's gonna smoke the planet. It's gonna be fun. What's their reaction when they can't figure out
Yeah,
how
right.
to pull up? Anyways, no, like it's completely free. Like in terms of how you play it, it's completely open.
Mhm.
Unlike Star Fox games where you're on rails for a bit, then maybe you have like that open boss fight or whatever. The whole game's open. Like planet to planet travel, open. Outer space to the planet. There's no load screens. All dynamically
Wow.
loaded. It's awesome.
That sounds sweet.
Like,
It is. It's beautiful.
I mean, and the thing is, there's been space games that are like this, right? No Man's Sky and stuff like that, but like, it's not like that. It feels, when you play it, I got a very Star Fox-esque feeling, especially during the boss fights, because you got to do 2 boss fights, I believe. There's other enemies you can fight, but you got to do 2 boss fights, and you even get to like switch between ground mode and air mode. What does that remind you of in Star Fox?
Oh wait.
Landmaster.
Landmaster.
I mean, it's not exactly like that, but it's basically a ground.
Yeah.
It's basically a Landmaster in an R-Wing mode.
Like
But
the chicken walker.
Chicken walker. Yes. Nice.
So it's really cool. It's really fun, and it reminded me a lot of Star Fox at times. But then as you're playing it, there's just things that are like, but this is definitely not Star Fox. Because I can go anywhere. Oh, the objective is over there. I don't have to go over there. I can go over there whenever I feel. I can just not go over there. I can just fly off the planet and go somewhere else if I want. I can go exploring. I can find, there's chests and items to find and different enemy types and like the environment and whether it's hot or cold can actually affect your engine a little bit. Not so much that it takes you down, but it can make you feel like you're flying through choppier air. There is obviously the various types of weapons that are just way beyond anything from Star Fox. Star Fox is pew pew laser. This is like
pew pew.
Big B-bomb.
So many different types of abilities and items. Some of them are just pure shields that you're just adding more armor to your thing. The different shifts to the story being told, like it's kind of cool because it's sort of what you see of anyways. We know there's cutscenes and stuff in the game, but what we got to play in the demo was very Star Fox. Like you have a portrait pop up and then blah blah blah, some chatter as you're playing. The gameplay doesn't stop; it's just continuous. But the story, if you paid attention, was actually kind of cool. It wasn't like super in depth for a demo. Of course, it's not going to give away anything, but it just sold me. I went hands on, and after because I went hands on with the handheld mode first. When I got done, I didn't want to let go, and I was holding it at a weird angle so we can get some decent footage of it. And I that's it. I want to be done.
Yeah.
Like, can I just put that in my pocket and go?
Yeah, right.
Because this is awesome. This is one of the best games I have played in years. And I'm even saying that after playing Octopath Traveler, and you guys know all my praise I've put out for that, and Breath of the Wild, my favorite game of all time, and all these other games that I have played in my lifetime. I'm 32 years old. I played a lot of games. And I walked away from a demo. This gave me the Breath of the Wild feeling. That's the scary thing for me. Awesome. I played Breath of the Wild at E3 2016, and I was in awe. And I played Open World RPG. I played The Witcher. I played all these games. But when I touched Breath of the Wild, it was just different. And you knew it. You knew it right away. And at first, you're like, is this a Zelda game? And then you start playing, you're like, yes, this is a Zelda game. A Zelda game unlike anything I've ever touched in my life.
It's a Zelda game, yet not a Zelda game, but yet it is a Zelda game.
It's weird. But it was a good kind of weird.
Oh, yeah,
and I came out of that.
Yeah.
I came out of that as... I mean, I was going to buy it anyways because I'm a big Zelda guy, but
yeah.
I came out of that as...
I came out of it buying it.
Like, my favorite Zelda game of all time was Zelda 2. So I'm like, I came out of that as... The demo might be my favorite Zelda game of all time.
Right?
Eric came out of playing the demo, deciding that day he's buying a Switch day one.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered Switch immediately as soon as it was announced, the very next morning.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was like Breath of the Wild sold the Switch for me. It sold everything for me. It sold my passion for gaming.
Hell, I got the collector's edition.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
nice.
Would have got the big boy one if they weren't sold out.
Right. But
so they could have got even more money from us.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I would have went that far, but yeah.
If it was available, I bet you would have.
Yeah, probably.
How rare it was.
Yeah, that's true.
It was only about an extra $50, but yeah, it's like an extra $50. But you're like at that point,
yeah, that's true.
Once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, you're probably.
God,
right.
it was the unboxing was epic.
Yes.
So we have an unboxing video for that. If you want to go way back in the day and look at some crappy video. But Starlink, when I played that, I'm like, this is it.
No, I would agree.
This Breath of the Wild feeling right now, one of the best games I've ever played ever with the demo.
I don't know why I keep forgetting about this game.
The second time I played it, a little different. I still came away highly impressed, but there was some lag, some FPS drops. At one point, because I already beat the bosses, so I was kind of messing around. I didn't really want to like just rush through and beat the bosses again because I already did that the first time. So on the last boss fight, because I knew I was a little short on time, so I'm like, I wonder what happens if I just mess around. And because like during the boss fight, he spawns little minions, and I like really wasn't taking them out, and I was just screwing around. Next thing you know, there was like 30 of them on screen or something.
Yeah.
And the game just started. And I'm just like, I don't think. And the guy's like looking at me like, I don't know what to like you're not supposed to see this. You're supposed to not be an idiot and beat the boss by now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not. I've already done that. I wanted to see what happened, and now I know, and I'm kind of regretting it.
Yeah.
But like, and that's whatever. I'm willing to excuse that stuff at an E3 setting because demo.
Right.
This is a demo. It's an early
Right.
demo.
Right.
We'll see what the final game is like. I'm hoping that they get that cleaned up for the final game in docked mode, because I didn't experience any of that in undocked modes. It could have also been a case it just wasn't fully optimized for docked mode. But still, even despite that, afterwards I'm like, okay, even though that lag sucked, God, this game's good.
Hmm.
Like, there was lag in Breath of the Wild, still good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the reason that you forget about that game is it's not talked about in the media a lot, like Zelda was. Zelda was front and center all the time. It's Switch exclusive. Nintendo was pushing it. This isn't an exclusive game. It's a brand new IP, but it's multi-platform.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think is awesome. I've said this before. I love my exclusive games. That's great. But I don't care if they go to other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
The more people that get to experience Breath of the Wild, the better in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Put that thing on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I don't care. Oh, it gives people less reason to buy a Switch. I don't give a crap. Let people who want to play the game play the game. I mean,
Blasphemy.
I know it's
Blasphemy.
give me Halo on Switch.
Yeah. Well, that'd be cool.
Like, Switch is a very unique platform. I don't need exclusives to sell me on it. The ability to play the games on the go sells me on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just my thing. And plus, hey, you want to play Breath of the Wild 4K? Now you can, without doing it illegally. So I don't know, man. Starlink just did it for me.
No, for
FiveJay,
sure.
you said you had another game you wanted to fire out there. What is it?
Oh yeah, there's a few of them. First
Rattle
and
them off. Let's
foremost, definitely Kentucky Robo Chicken.
What?
Just kidding.
I have to go look
Look
this
at
up
this
now.
big list of games coming out on Switch, and that's a random game I picked out there.
It's just like when Bomb Chicken was announced.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah, it's $2.49, so I'm sure
It's
it's
special.
no
It's a
amazing
special game for $2.49. Hey, remember, it's more expensive than Fortnite, so it must be better.
Right.
Oh my goodness, I'm looking at the art. It is so bad. Okay. Anyways, real
Hey, some guy put
suggestions now.
7,000 hours into that game in his basement. Come on.
Mega Man 11, I'm definitely really looking forward to.
There's one. Yep.
So I've always been a lifelong Mega Man fan, and even though X is my favorite series, still the classic Mega Man games are just so simple. It's really just jumping and shooting.
It's
but,
just it's like Mega Man at its purest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's action platforming in general at its purest. It's so inventive. The music is always absolutely amazing. The art that they have on the box, I pre-ordered the special Amiibo edition, so I got to have that Mega Man Amiibo coming in.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping the
and,
music also lives up to the classics.
Right, and that's the thing, is the video previews I've seen so far, I don't know that I love the in-game art style, like the graphic approach.
Yeah.
But the gameplay looks spot on.
Yeah, I think the graphic approach was probably just because they did when they brought Mega Man back for Mega Man 9 or something like that, or Mega Man 8, can't remember. When they brought it back and it was this big deal because we hadn't had classic Mega Man for a while, it was really successful. So then they made another one, and that one wasn't as successful. And I think it's because part of that success is that it had been a really, really long time. But now that it's back, we want to see something like X. We want to see something fresh.
Yeah,
visual.
and they've been building up the return of Mega Man for a long time because he was kind of gone forever. They weren't making new games. They were canceling multiple games they were working on. There were 3 or 4 Mega Man games they were working on, and they
then
canceled
the one guy
all
left
of
and made
them.
the Unspeakable Mighty Number 9.
Well, right, and that was a whole other debacle from the same creator. Like, how did you make this terrible mess?
It's like, so you weren't the real mastermind.
You weren't the magic.
Yeah, you might have had the ideas, but you didn't make it work.
Right. And this one looks like it's nailing all of it. The gameplay looks just amazing. They're adding in new features and ideas that I think are really going to breathe in some really good life into the series. And like I said, they've been working on bringing Mega Man back for so long with those Legacy collections and X Legacy collections now, and it's time for a brand new Mega Man game, and maybe we're going to see more brand new Mega Man games, but I'm happy as it is to just
exactly
have
what
11.
they should. Oh, here's the. I like him what they're doing to what really desperately needs to happen with Sonic after Sonic Mania.
Oh yes, completely.
And the thing is, I don't think they can pull it off. They've kind of proven they really can't pull that kind of thing off. And it's fine. I love Sonic Mania. But like Sonic Mania is great because it called back to the classics, and it's been a long time. And it's fantastic. It's a great game in its own right, but it's kind of like, but part of the reason it feels so great is because we haven't had a Sonic game like that in so long. So now it's like, now if you're going to make a sequel, we got Sonic Forces and all stuff, and they're okay. But we haven't had like that next, you just watch it, love the art style or hate it, you in the back of your mind say, that is Sonic. That's what you feel about this game. You can dislike the art style, that's always a personal preference, but watch it in action and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
That's what Mighty Number 9 was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is the next Mega Man.
Yes.
Hopefully it lives up to the hype, at least it has for me. Eric, is there one more game you want to toss out there before we wrap up? You can go cheese and go with another big one.
Smash.
There it is.
I mean,
there
I
it
knew you were going to
is.
go Smash.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, Smash is the go-to.
Yeah.
The go-to period. I mean, no matter what. You bought Smash on 3DS.
Yeah.
There wasn't even. It was before Nintendo Prime was even a thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Smash is just a must. It's one of those games like if you own a Switch, buy Smash.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's just if you like any game on Switch, there's probably a character in Smash you want to play with. So,
what's one big thing you're looking forward to in Smash, the new Smash? Each of you.
Story mode.
Yeah,
Don't even know if it's gonna be
happy.
there, but story mode.
Yeah, not announced, but I highly suspect. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see. There might be another direct for it. Very well. So you're just waiting to see what that mystery mode is to get announced.
That mystery mode, and if I was going to bring up anything else, how to trigger Dracula in the Castlevania stage. Because they said, they acted like in rare occurrences, Dracula would appear.
Right.
So what is it that brings Dracula out? Is it actually just completely random? Is it an event? Is it a certain way you beat some of the other stage bosses? Is it only because he only comes out in the story mode?
He only comes out
What
at night.
is it? Well, only comes out at night. Like, what is it? What triggers Dracula coming out? And I think, to me, it almost became more intriguing because he killed Luigi. Because that moment... This is the crazy thing for me with a Nintendo game. That moment, as crazy as it is, and the speculation that came out about it, and LOL, it's Smash, it's whatever. That is the first time I've become afraid of a villain in a Nintendo game. Actually think the villain's a threat. I don't know, since I was a kid and I thought Bowser was a big deal.
Yeah,
every
Bowser.
boss that comes out as a threat in Zelda, in Mario, in any of their games. At the end of the day, I know they're a pushover, and you're going to walk all over them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Dracula, killed Luigi, man.
Rip Luigi.
Luigi with a brand new poltergeist, going to town.
Man.
And just one swipe, you're done. I'm just like, oh, no. Oh, this got real.
Ripped.
He's bringing the afterlife into this. Oh, no.
Ripped.
I can't wait to see what foreshadowing that is, because I feel like that's just them telling us what's happening in Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi is going to become a ghost, and he's going to be a ghost investigator as a ghost. Maybe.
This is where I have to put on my... But FiveJay, they've never done that before. They've never foreshadowed a future game in Smash.
Never once. You're right.
They've never foreshadowed a game that hasn't already been announced. Big key thing. Someone's going to bring up, I think, Yoshi's Woolly World. They did some teasing in Smash before that game came out, but that game was already announced. So we already knew it existed. Whereas here, Luigi's Mansion 3 isn't even a thing we know even exists. Some people think it exists.
There's no announcement, but
there's no announcement.
Yeah, based
so
on that
this would be an
poltergeist and
actual
everything.
foreshadowing that's never occurred. I think it's just a foreshadowing of that supposed hidden mode that looks like it spells spirits. Because what does Luigi become when Dracula kills him?
Maybe that has something to do with the story mode, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see.
Maybe they're bringing along the next Spirit Tracks.
Or wasn't it? Maybe it wasn't Dragon. Maybe it was Death that killed him. Now that I'm thinking back on the trailer, might have been Death.
Right, yeah.
But either way, they're very interconnected in the Castlevania series. For obvious reasons, if you ever play a Castlevania game, you understand the connection between Death and Dracula. Man, yeah. So I'm looking really forward to just that stage and how you trigger Dracula. What's Death's role and everything. Everything Castlevania has me excited because I don't know what it is about that stage, but right now I think it has the most stage bosses ever of any Smash stage, and I'm just like, there has to be a reason for that. Why?
Yeah.
Why is this stage getting so much attention? That's why I think it has something to do with the story mode, and it's just going to carry over into the other modes. But I'm very, very curious. That Monster Hunter Dragon is also like the first ever stage boss and assist trophy.
Are they trying to bring as many characters into it as possible without adding a ton of characters to the roster?
Well, here's my thing. I don't want to say all. They've had stage bosses for a long time.
Mm.
But this is the most attention I've seen paid to stage bosses in a while. Usually you get like that one boss, super easy. It's kind of a pushover. It's more of just a... There's a reason people turn off stage bosses a lot of times. It's kind of an annoyance. It's not really difficult. It just kind of gets in the way of what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Like you probably remember, like what was the one that was like that big yellow guy that would like come apart in pieces and kind of go across the screen to the other side? Yep. I forget what he's called.
Yellow Devil.
Yellow Devil, yeah. It's like, it's just kind of an annoyance. It's not really hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I think that's why what happened with a lot of stage bosses is people are just like, it's just kind of annoying. It's not really that fun. Mm-hmm. This looks fun. Mm-hmm. And I want to know if it's going to be fun or if I'm just getting hyped up for nothing, or why is there so many stage bosses? What does death have to do with it? Why is Luigi dead? And here's the thing, the crazy theory about like Luigi's not the first one to die, it's just the first one we've seen the spirit of.
Yeah.
We've technically already seen deaths in prior Smash teases. Like Mario died. So both the Mario brothers technically have died before the games even come out.
Yeah, buddy.
So it's like, and I think someone else died. There was like 3 or 4 characters who have died. And it's like, and that could be the foreshadowing. It could be okay, these characters were killed, but no one thought anything of it because it's Smash, right? Characters die all the time.
Mode.
Right?
Yeah, maybe you're just...
So you don't think anything of it. All of a sudden, Luigi dies, and you see a spirit, and it's just like, wait a second. These other characters died, but now this one died, and there's a spirit. Is there a difference between the two, or was it a build-up? Yes, those characters died, you didn't think much of it, but you should have. Because now, this is what happens when you die. But why does that happen when you die? Is it just because death did it, or is it because the spirit mode? See, there's all this stuff, and that's what I'm all hyped about. Like, yeah, it's cool that I know there's new mechanics and all this. Like, it's great. They have the new mode where like you eliminate characters as you play with your friends as you go down the list, and you try to win with as many different characters as you can. Yes. I think all that's awesome. Story mode, and whatever the hell is going on with this Castlevania stuff. Oh my god, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
And it helps that Castlevania is now relevant again in pop culture because of Netflix. So
yeah.
That Castlevania show. If you guys haven't watched it on Netflix yet, if you even have a fleeting interest in Castlevania, go watch that show.
Oh, it's a good anime. So even if you don't care for Castlevania or whatever, it's a good anime.
Sorry, I'm not that big into animes. That's why I said I watched it because I like Castlevania.
It's
but
like
I do
really
like some
beautiful
animes.
art.
Fooly Cooley. Oh. FLCL. I'm never gonna get over that one. My favorite of all time. I also like One Piece a lot, but
oh god, One Piece.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch
good,
all of
but
One
oh
Piece.
my lord.
I don't know if there's people who have watched all. I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch all of One Piece, but maybe I'll make that a mission. When I finally retire one day, I'm gonna sit down for the next 8 years and watch every episode.
By the time
of One
you
Piece.
retire, they might actually just be finally finishing
it. No. One Piece I don't think is ever gonna end.
Oh no,
it's gonna be SpongeBob. It's just gonna keep going.
The guy did say he does have
Simpsons.
He's about halfway through it.
Yeah, I'm sure he has an ending in his head. There's an ending for Simpsons that's in the creator's head too, but it's just gonna keep going.
No, he said that it's about he's about halfway through it.
So it won't be done when I'm dead.
Yeah, no. The guy's gonna probably the creator's gonna die before it's done.
But he'll have the scripts written down for other people to carry on. Oh my god.
Sad day. Rip.
I love One Piece.
No, it is good. But
anyways, all right, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. I want to thank obviously Eric Moore and FiveJay for coming in and tuning in late and making this all happen. I'm glad to be back to our normal schedule, which of course led to us having a late podcast because that's just what normally happens, I guess. Normally when we do it normal, I don't.
Why not?
I just said normal 4 times rapid fire.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how you do it. That's how you know it's late.
Right.
You guys should go over and check out FiveJay's YouTube and Twitch channels. You just type FiveJay Gaming into anywhere and he shows up. That's just
magic.
It's just magic. You can follow him on Twitter. Where at?
At FiveJay on Twitter. On Instagram at FiveJay Gaming. I got a Facebook page as well. Facebook.com/FiveJay Gaming.
There you go. And check out all that stuff because he live streams like all the time. It's crazy. He like I thought I live streamed a lot. No. FiveJay's next level. Because not only does he live stream on his channel, he live streams on my channel and sometimes over on Game Over Jesse's channel. So
it's true.
Like,
holy cow.
He's a live stream beast, and he's very, very knowledgeable. If you can't tell, that's why I love having him as a guest on our podcast, and probably future podcasts and future shows and future videos. I might even get him together for a discussion video sometime, because like it's just very knowledgeable, and I like being around fellow knowledgeable Nintendo fans and just gaming fans in general.
So why the hell am I here?
I need someone to boost my ego.
Ooh, ouch.
And obviously, Eric Moore. I shouldn't say obviously, because there was a time and a place where I couldn't tell you where to follow him.
Yeah.
But he's technically on Twitter.
I am.
He basically just tweets out the podcast.
I do.
But, I mean, maybe one day, someday in the future, like if we're at an E3, maybe he'll tweet out something else. Like, we're going to be recording the podcast tonight.
Right.
It's just going to be podcast related.
Yeah, probably.
But, I mean, the thing is, like, if you hit him up on
I
Twitter and, like, actually message him or tweet at him, he'll probably respond to you. He checks in once in a while.
Oh, I check
At
for
least
sports.
once a week. At least once a week.
I check for sports.
There you go. So he's on anyways. So, I mean, he'll be interactive. No one's really interactive with him, but I've seen him respond to a couple, like, people when I would retweet the podcast and someone would say something. I've seen him respond a couple times. So it's like, it's one of those things. Go ahead, follow him. He is one of the members of Nintendo Prime. Don't be surprised if you just see him retweet sports stories all the time. But that's okay. Wisconsin sports stories especially. Yeah. But that's okay. That's the thing. I talk about sports too. I was just talking about volleyball on the Nintendo Prime Twitter yesterday.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you guys anyone care? No, but I just felt like, hey, I won.
Yeah, there you go.
Going to the championships.
Yeah, there you go.
Where I'm going to lose to a bunch of high school kids.
Yeah.
Like, is it legal for high school kids to play in a bar league? They're not even old enough to be in the bar.
I don't know. As long as they don't go in the bar.
I know, right?
Fine.
Because the volleyball's outside. So it's a frustration. It's a complaint I actually threw to the league commissioner, not because I want to just be handed the victory. I mean, it's a money league, so sure, hand me the victory. Hand my team the victory. But it's because I just don't think that's in a bar league. Like, I understand, like, a more generalized adult league. Maybe you have, like, a cutoff of age 16 or 17 or something. Mm-hmm. But, like, this is specifically a bar league that has, like, prizes for drinking.
Mm-hmm. No, you just know that team's not going to win. At least you hope they don't.
Well, there's a drinking prize, and then there's the you're actually good at volleyball prize. So, I don't know. Anyways, I'm probably going to get our butts whipped. I'm already really sore just from what we had to do to come back and win against teams that were way better than us, and we're going to get wrecked. But you know what? It's fun. It's fine.
Podcast.
That's going to be the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow me at NateJance on Twitter. I don't use that one as much, so I also encourage you to follow the at Ninty, yes, N-I-T-Y Prime Twitter account. Obviously, if this is the first podcast you've ever heard, you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Prime, where you can continue to allow this podcast to happen every single week. You get early access. You can even be on a podcast for $20 per month. We haven't had anyone really take advantage of that, yet we have like 4 or 5 $20 backers that just don't ever come on because they don't feel like coming on or they don't have time. But they keep backing for $20 anyways because they're awesome and they love what we do. We hope to continue to do this every single week. We've only missed, I think, 2 weeks ever since we started doing it weekly. Mm-hmm. One was because I was sick. The other one, I don't remember what the other one was for. I honestly don't remember what it was for. There was one. It's pretty. What I'm saying is, it's really extreme reasons that it does not happen. I've done podcasts while I was sick, but this was like a kind of sick where I'm hacking all the time and like. You weren't going
to get a conversation out at all.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, right.
Carry the cast.
Yeah,
ready,
right.
set, go. And what do you think?
Yeah, right.
All right, folks. We'll catch you in. Oh, before I sign out, sorry. It's because it's our first one in a while. I want to remind everyone that you can get our audio version as well on iTunes. You just look up Nintendo Prime Podcast, and it will pop up in iTunes. We're also at Podbean. There will be a link to. I don't know the Podbean URL off the top of my head. There'll be a link to it down in the description of the video. And technically, I'm not trying to get. We are on Anchor.fm, and we're through Anchor FM. We're supposed to be on SoundCloud, but we're not yet. I don't know why. I got to talk to them about that. I think that's it. Then.
Otherwise, you can also go to the webpage and find it too.
We have a website.
We do have a website.
Where is the website at?
NintendoPrime.net. Yeah, buddy.
All right, guys.
Actually, that's the only collection of all of it, except for
the last 3 audio versions.
No, just 77.
Oh, just 70.
I will have that up tomorrow.
Okay. So there you go. He is technically correct. The website, I think it's nintendoprime.net/podcast or something like that.
It just go to nintendoprime.net.
Only
literally
place to get literally every episode. Podbean has every episode but one, and it's because I don't know where the audio version is. And then our YouTube channel is every episode but like the first 20, which is on the original Nintendo Prime YouTube channel, which you can't even find anymore. So, yay! But Nintendo Prime.net's got it everything. Okay, I think we finally ran through everything for the first podcast back.
Yes.
All right, we'll catch you guys in the next one.